City Council meeting to order for October 7th, 2025. Please do roll call.
Councilmember Kamish. Here. Councilmember Kaiser. Here. Councilmember Onessa-Rosen.
Here.
Councilmember Budiszewski.
Here.
Councilmember Cumming.
Here.
Mayor Deschler.
Here.
Councilmember Eidbo is absent. We have a quorum.
All right. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item on our agenda is to approve the agenda as written.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right. I would like to second that.
I will second that.
Okay, Therese. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is our police chief is going to come and share some information about promotions and introduce a new officer.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and council members, thank you for allowing us a few minutes to recognize some very important career and department milestones tonight through some recent promotions. As you all know very well, the Crystal Police Department is seen as a premier agency by those in our community and by those throughout the law enforcement community. As with any high-performing organization, the recipe for being premier is actually not a very complicated one. Have clear and attainable goals, hire the right team members, train and coach those team members to fulfill those goals, and support the work the team members do to help them make those goals reality. I couldn't be more proud to be in an organization that understands this in a community that appreciates us and with city leadership that supports us. Obviously, one absolutely vital piece of that recipe is selection of individuals to serve in leadership positions within the organization. I've been so blessed during my time here and long before I arrived to be surrounded by leaders who truly care about this community and its people, making sure we are always doing good work in the right ways and investing everything they have in our team members to keep us moving forward. The main reason we have been able to boast about being an anomaly in the staffing crisis so many agencies have found themselves in recent years is because of this constant, steady, and caring leadership from our supervisors. They daily create an atmosphere that people not only want to be a part of, but want to give their very best to. As you all have become well aware, there are countless pressures and issues that occupy the time and energy of a police chief in 2025. However, I believe there is no item at all of greater importance in what I do in this role than the selection, development, encouragement, mentorship, and empowerment of the leaders of this police department. These individuals are the ones that ensure we are meeting the community expectations. They are the ones that constantly interact with the staff team to make sure they have what they need when they need it. They're the ones making the sometimes tough call in the most difficult of situations. And they are the ones that provide a steady calmness to the most chaotic of times. The chief can lay out a vision and set some goals, but it is the leaders in the organization that are going to help ensure that vision actually aligns with what the community needs, and they are the ones that are going to actualize making that vision a reality. So, given the extreme importance of these positions in our organization, and given the high honor of achieving a formal leadership position in an agency as highly regarded as ours, it is fitting that our new leaders be recognized in front of you and our community. I'm excited and honored tonight to recognize two individuals who I'm confident are going to continue our long history of outstanding leadership to the Crystal Police Department. And I'm then excited to introduce you to one of our newest members of our team who has reached a career milestone in completing her probationary period. The second most important thing a police chief does is to hire the very best officers out there to serve this community, and I'm honored to introduce you to someone who embodies who we are. I will have Lieutenant John Kurtz come forward. Is he here? Lieutenant John Kurtz was born in Golden Valley and spent his childhood in the Chicago area. After graduating high school, John obtained his bachelor's degree in criminal justice from St. Cloud State University and completed his law enforcement skills training from Alexandria Technical College in 2009. Right after graduating from St. Cloud State, John began his career as a police officer with the Becker Police Department. After 7 years of diligent service in Becker, John decided he wanted to continue his career with a bigger department closer to the cities, and fortunate for us, followed one of his former co-workers who came to Crystal prior to him and suggested this would be a department for him. During his initial background here in Crystal, his former chief said John was his very best employee and going to be his next sergeant appointment. Neither of those are small compliments coming from a chief. John was sworn in as a Crystal police officer on October 28, 2015, and quickly impressed all he worked with because of his skills, dedication, and great ability to work with people. These skills and work ethic made him an easy choice for promotion after being here less than 2 years, and he was promoted to sergeant on August 14, 2017. He's been an incredibly highly respected leader in the department during his 8 years in that role and is sought after by most everyone for counsel, direction, and problem solving. John has received the department's Exceptional Performance Award and 4 life-saving awards during his time here. His work has definitely changed and saved lives. In addition to being an officer and a sergeant, John has served as an FTO and FTO coordinator, a defensive tactics and use of force instructor and coordinator, a member of the Hennepin County Mobile Field Force Team, the Towards Zero Death Coordinator, and the Domestic Violence Response Coordinator, just to name a few of his many accomplishments. Not to mention, he's everyone's mother around here and is constantly cleaning up after the rest of us in our constantly lived-in building. John has completed numerous leadership trainings, including the Minnesota Chiefs of Police Association Leadership Academy and the Elite FBI LEADA Leadership Trilogy Series. John endured a rigorous promotion process to stand before you tonight. After completing his application, he completed interviews with both an internal and an external panel, a review of his past performance evaluations, and a full psychological and leadership assessment. John has been a crucial part of the Crystal PD team for 10 years and has undeniably earned the honor and responsibilities of his promotion to lieutenant. John lives north of the metro with his wife, Nikki, and their awesome children, Addison, Charlotte, and Bradley. John began serving as the lieutenant responsible for the patrol division on June 28th and has already been making an impact in his new role. We are very excited to formally recognize him tonight for his promotion to this crucial leadership spot in the department. John is joined tonight by his family, including his daughter Addison, who will be pinning his badge number 304 on him. Addison, come on up.
Congratulations.
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 Great name, too.
And Sergeant Nick Schwalbe.
Is he here?
Who isn't?
That's right. Great question.
Sergeant Nick Schwalbe grew up in Mound and graduated from Mound West Tonka High School and held a number of different jobs during and after high school. Nick then graduated from Alexandria Technical College with an associate's degree in law enforcement in 2004 and went on to become an experienced and respected police officer prior to his arrival in Crystal in 2019. Early in his career, Nick served with the Mound, Madison Lake, and Jackson police departments. He then spent 8 years as a deputy with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. Among his many accomplishments in Jackson County was being an award-winning canine handler with 2 different canine partners. Nick's successful experience as an officer would have given him the opportunity to move to any police department to continue his career, and our department and this community have been so fortunate that Crystal is where he chose to land. Nick was sworn in as a police officer with the Crystal Police Department on May 20th, 2019, and has done an awful lot in his 6 years here. During his time, Nick has served as a patrol officer, a DWI officer, and most recently as an investigator for the past 2 years. In addition to his day-to-day duties, Nick has served as a field training officer, a defensive tactics and use of force instructor, a drug recognition evaluator, a DWI instructor, a drone pilot, a background investigator, and an informal leader to our K-9 teams due to his past experience. In addition, Nick has received 3 exceptional performance awards and a life-saving award during his time here. Similar to Lieutenant Kurtz, Nick endured a similar rigorous promotion process to stand before you. He completed his application, interviews with an internal and external panel, a review of his past performance evals, a full psychological and leadership assessment. His hard work, tenacity, easygoing manner, and strong leadership skills have certainly earned him the honor and responsibilities of his promotion to sergeant. Nick lives west of the cities with his wife Nicole and their daughter and son. Nick enjoys being outside, camping, running, playing softball, home renovations, yard work, and spending time with his family. Sergeant Schwalbe officially started in his new role a few weeks ago, and we are very excited to formally recognize him as he moves into this leadership role with our department. Nick is joined tonight by his family, including his kids Haley and Hayden, and Haley will be pinning his badge number 308 on. Oh, and Hayden. Awesome.
Congrats and thanks for your service.
Congratulations.
And Officer Omana. It's my honor tonight to introduce you to Officer Perla Omana, who as of October 14th will shed the rookie title from her name and will complete her probationary period. As you know, candidates who are hired as Crystal police officers endure a rigorous process prior to being given the opportunity to wear a uniform. Candidates complete an application, go through 2 interview panels, participate in an interview with the chief, deputy chief, and city manager, conduct an extensive background investigation, a full psychological screening, a physical screening, and physical agility testing before being offered a position. After they are hired, they complete 2 weeks of administrative and initial training, are given the oath of office by the mayor, and complete 3 months of individualized field training with an experienced officer. After successfully completing field training, they are approved for solo patrol and are assigned a shift for the remainder of their first year. Once they've successfully completed their probationary year, I approve them for permanent status, which is the benchmark we celebrate with Officer Omana tonight. Perla was born in Los Angeles, California, and moved to Minnesota as a toddler. She says she realized early in life that she enjoyed helping others and getting to know individuals from different backgrounds. She graduated from Paladine Career and Technical High School in Coon Rapids. After high school, Perla began working in positions in immigration law. As a first-generation Mexican-American, she had seen firsthand the impacts of law and how it impacted people's lives. After a few years of work in the immigration field, she decided that it was time to move on to positions that further help people. And now that she understood how laws impact people, she began to realize that law enforcement was an untapped interest and passion. Perla obtained her associate's degree in law enforcement from Minneapolis College and completed her skills program at Hennepin Technical College in May 2024. While Perla was going to school, she joined the Brooklyn Center Police Department as a community service officer for about 2.5 years. During her years as a CSO in Brooklyn Center, she was seen as level-headed, respectful, outgoing, friendly, easy to get along with, hardworking, open-minded, a great listener, professional, eager to learn, and someone having a high sense of integrity and care for others. These are all qualities we look for in officers that are going to join the Crystal Police Department team, and Perla has shown every one of those and so many more during her time here. While someone of Perla's character and background could have chosen almost any department to move to when she decided to pursue police officer jobs, we're very fortunate she decided to be here in Crystal. And Perla has shown each one of us these traits since her arrival. In addition, her fluency in Spanish has been a vital benefit to our department and the community on a very regular basis. Please join us in officially congratulating Officer Perla Omana on completion of her probationary period.
Congratulations.
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 Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
All right. Congratulations to everybody. John Sutter, I think you are going to chat a little bit about the next topic.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll be brief in the interest of time. So you're familiar with the Cabinet Wrap project. We did 10 last year, and we just completed 4 in September. One of the 4, Mike Peterson, our communications coordinator over there, took the photos of the Crystal Cove for the Cabinet at 47th and Douglas. but for the other 3 cabinets, we solicited and were happy to receive donated artworks from 2 Crystal residents. The first that I want to introduce is Pemdi Osland, who donated photos of pollinators in her own yard and for the cabinet at 36th and Noble. And I think, Madam Mayor, we should probably recognize them one at a time, if you like.
Yes. Do we have pictures of it that we could put up on the screen or no?
We do not, I am
Okay.
sorry. But you have the certificates of recognition, so.
Did you want me to come down there then? And
Yes, please. And the next artist is Elizabeth Peak, who did the submitted photographs of 2 Crystal Parks for Mac Park and Valley Place Park, respectively, for the cabinets at 56th and Regent and 32nd and Winnetka. And I would like to invite Elizabeth up to receive her certificate from the mayor.
congratulations, they're beautiful photos.
Turn. There we go.
I remember seeing that photo quite a while ago from Mac Park. And it was on like the Light of Crystal Facebook page and I think Crystal Community Group. And I remember just thinking how stunning it was right from the get-go. And I've loved that picture ever since. So thank you. All right, the next item is the consent agenda. And the consent agenda is just a list of kind of housekeeping items that we kind of run through. They're non-controversial, so we just pass them in a single motion. So I will read those off. Approval of the minutes from the following meetings. A city council work session on September 11th, 2025. City council meeting on September 16th, 2025. And a city council work session on September 16th, 2025. Approval of disbursements over $25,000 submitted by the Finance Department. Approval of the list of license applications submitted by the city clerk. Approval of a resignation of Taylor Sullivan from the Sustainability Commission. Adoption of a resolution updating the banking name of one of the designated depositories of the city of Crystal. What was that, Old Republic to Bremer or Bremer to Old Republic?
Bremer Bank was acquired by Old National Bank.
Old National, okay. Annual notification of the Law Enforcement Support Office, LESO, program to the City Council. Adoption of a resolution approving the purchase of Logis citation software. Adoption of resolution supporting a bonding request for the Joint Water Commission. Adoption of a resolution approving change order number 1 for the 2025 utility reconstruction project. And finally, approval of awarding a planning consultant contract for the Climate Action Plan. Is there any discussion?
I have one question. Yep.
Okay.
So on the expenditures over 25,000, there's a expenditure for fiber cabling for cameras and speakers at the Aquatic Center. That wasn't part of the original.
Correct.
Yeah, so that was, we talked about that, the PA system had to be improved, that's correct? And so that's a separate line item for,
Yeah, these are, the cameras were part of that, but the speakers were added
okay.
subsequently.
Because we discussed that, you said that there'd be announcements and people couldn't hear them, whatever, they were so old.
That's repaired now.
Yes, those are, well, yes, they've been installed and replaced.
Okay.
All right, very good, thank you.
Anybody care to make a motion to approve the consent agenda? John?
I'll make a motion to approve
Okay.
the consent
Thank you,
agenda.
Therese.
I'll second
Tracy,
that.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, consent agenda carries. Next, we have open forum. This is an opportunity for residents to come and share concerns, ideas, comments, complaints to us. We don't necessarily answer any of these things tonight, but we listen, and we will put it on a future meeting. There are quite a few here for Maria's kids, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with Ann. Are you here? Yeah. You want to come up and have a shot at the podium?
I'm here to talk about the street parking. We have ordinances that they're not supposed to park on the street from 2 to 5. We also have ordinances that they're not supposed to be on the street over 24 hours. How many people have they come up to this council? About 3809 Adair, Kentucky Lane Apartments. I've talked to Julie several times about my building, 4825 Veracruz behind Steve-O's. Julie's talked about the Bass Lake Road crossings. And when you guys are talking about the 15.87% tax increase and how to save, if the cops did their job every night and started ticketing and towing all these people every night, and with that revenue, you could lower everybody's taxes, because those cars are out there every night in front of my building. And the last one they just got rid of, and it's been there for a week straight. They did have one ticket. It should have been 7 tickets, 24 times 7. And the same thing up by those Kentucky Lane apartments, the Bass Lake Road apartments, the 3809. This council was full of people on that. And also over on the street on Colorado by
42nd.
Yes. So if the cops were doing their job, all these taxes, what you guys want to raise, and with the tickets, they could lower it quite a bit. And it is our ordinance, no parking 2 to 5 and 24 hours, and nothing is being done about it.
All right, well, we appreciate your comments. Thank you
Yep.
very much. Good job, Ann.
Thank you.
And when you say she's talked to me several times, I would say like several hundred times.
And Mary's talked to you.
I know. Oh, I hear it from, yep. I know that I am going out on a ride-along. Once I got sick, I couldn't go, and then once I think the officer was out on scheduled vacation. So I am going to go myself, and maybe any other council member that wants to come too ride along and see exactly what it is from 2 to 5 that they do. But the truth is, you know, sometimes they're assisting with accident scenes. They're responding to medicals. They're transporting, you know, people that have been arrested down to Hennepin County Jail. So if there's only one CSO on a night and a couple cops have multiple calls, you know, the parking tickets, while they're very important, I know that they are down here on this part of the primary order, where other calls like medicals and stuff take precedence. So just can't have, you know, extra 2 or 3 police officers to write tickets. We just don't have the money. And when you think, oh yeah, we're going to write a ticket for $35 for parking, I don't even think we get all that money. I think most of it goes to the county. So I believe we get 1/3 of the ticket. I might be wrong, but I don't know why the county gets so much of it and we don't get more, but it isn't a big revenue maker.
Street parking, and you've been over to clean up 4825. All the street parking, they empty their.
I know,
trash
yeah.
on the street, too.
I know. Trust me, I know. No. Well, anyway, thank you for your time. Next, we are going to, do you want to address the property tax increase first? We have 3 people.
Mayor, the public input portion of the agenda is where that.
6.4.
Okay, All right. So for the people that are here to talk about the property tax increases, we're going to have an opportunity to specifically talk about that when we get to that part of the agenda, okay? So the next item that we have residents here for and guests is Maria's Kids Spanish Immersion Daycare. And I believe that Maria Moldenhauer, is that correct? Is the owner-operator, or one of them. And so I think we'll let her go first, and then we can hear from some of the parents. No, that would be fine. So what is your name?
My name is Jeff Moldenhauer. I'm
Oh.
Maria's husband.
Oh, okay, okay.
Would you mind if I handed you a handout to each of
No,
the
not
members?
at all.
Okay.
Now, just to be, let you know too, you know, we aren't going to be able to respond to this tonight, but there is a public hearing on November 10th. Our planning commission is going to hear, and once the public hearing is completed, our city council will weigh in, consider the matter after that. But you are still welcome to speak tonight.
Good evening, Mayor Deschler and council members. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak about a very challenging situation we have found ourselves in. My name is Jeff Moldenhauer, as I said, and my wife, Maria, is the owner and lead teacher of Maria's Kids Spanish Immersion Daycare, which is an in-home family childcare. And for the past 13 years, we've been operating right here in Crystal. Our property at 5307 Idaho Avenue North is split between a main level residence, Unit A, and an attached accessory dwelling unit, Unit B. So Maria's license is Unit A and has a capacity for 14 children. Her mother's license is Unit B and has a capacity for 9 children. Both dwellings are completely independent and don't have internal access to each other. But we didn't start out this way. In 2012, at first, there was just one license shared between Maria and her mom. But over the years, we saw that there was a desperate need in the community for infant and toddler care that our one license couldn't cover. Therefore, in April of 2019, we consulted DHS, the Department of Human Services, about creating an attached separate dwelling with its own license on our property. DHS said, as long as the city approves the construction of an additional dwelling, then we can move forward with a separate license. So we got to work and went through every proper step. We pulled permits, constructed the ADU, and passed city inspections. We completed DHS licensing paperwork. We passed the state fire inspection. And we finally opened Unit B to parents in August of 2020, a year and a half later. And we've been licensed and in good standing ever since, with no gaps, suspensions, or substantiated complaints. Now, despite that clear history, in July of this year, the city planning department issued an administrative notice ordering us to close Unit B based solely on a single neighbor's complaint filled with speculation and confusion about licensing and zoning. Within a single day, when the complaint was made, the city decided that our successful 5-year program was ordered to be terminated within 30 days, leaving families with no time to find alternative care. No solution-based ideas or practical suggestions were offered to allow the continued operation of Unit B. No appeal process or administrative hearing was provided or even mentioned as a possibility in the notice. And when we asked about the possibility of appealing the decision, we were told, and I quote, "I don't know what you mean by appeal. In this case, the code is doing exactly what was intended," end quote. When we requested more time simply because we needed help families transition, we were treated as if we were acting in bad faith. The city offered to extend the deadline only if we replied yes to their email, effectively giving up our right to renew the license of Unit B. We still tried to work with them, but heard nothing else back. It was only after attorneys became involved that a month later we were finally granted an extension. That is why we are here tonight, instead of just waiting for next month's Planning Commission meeting, because it feels as though the Planning Department is determined to shut us down no matter what. So the administrative notice only vaguely mentions City Code 515 as its justification for closing Unit B, but no specific provision was cited to support the claim that an ADU must have someone living there rather than having it be used for childcare. To date, nobody has been able to show us anything in 515's ADU standards or the city's table of permitted uses that says a licensed family child care is prohibited from operating in an ADU or that continuous occupancy is a requirement of having an ADU. Even if that were the case, though, Minnesota law states that licensed family child care is a protected residential use. An ADU is a dwelling and a residence. Unit B has its own entrance, kitchen, bathroom, and main living area. Everything that is needed to qualify as a dwelling and a residence. And a residence is what is required to host a licensed family child care. So it doesn't matter whether it's an ADU, a duplex, a townhome, or a single-family home, it can have a child care. Minnesota law also allows multiple DHS licenses at the same property, provided each operates as a distinct program, which is the case here. Now, despite hearing all this, city staff says we still need to close Unit B. However, the city has known since at least 2022 that our property is used exclusively for childcare. Emails and documents show that Maria explicitly told them so, and even worked with the county assessor, the city even worked with the county assessor to reclassify the property as commercial non-homestead. So why act only now, after one neighbor complains? If the city forces us to shut down Unit B, it will eliminate much-needed childcare spots for the working families that you see here tonight, including some with newborns to start in January. Shutting down a daycare isn't like closing a store where families can just go down the road. Each spot lost is a family left scrambling and a community need unmet. There are nearly 6,000 active family child cares in Minnesota, and 16 of them are right here in Crystal. Across the state, only 6 programs operate like ours, with 2 licenses under one roof in a residential zone. So if the city is worried that this could suddenly start becoming a trend with an extra ADU popping up within every child care in town, I can assure you, running one daycare is just hard enough. Very few providers join forces to operate 2. We respectfully ask that this council send a clear message to staff. Child care is an essential service, and the families of Crystal deserve support, not disruption. Despite all this, we still remain open to working together with the city to come up with a reasonable solution that doesn't put 2 very talented and loving teachers out of a job and doesn't needlessly put 9 children without care. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Blake Verdon? Sure.
Took turns already. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for your time tonight. My name is Maria Moldenhauer. I am the owner of Maria's Kids Daycare. I am speaking in behalf of myself and my mom, the license holder of Unit B. Since she couldn't be here tonight, she's watching our boys. In the neighbor's complaints to the city, he asked the city planner, why aren't we operating in a commercial building? And if he would have came to my door and talked to my face, I would have told him the following. Our daycare is so much more than just a business. It is a home away from home, where children feel safe, cared for, loved, comfortable in a familiar setting, especially for infants and toddlers, helping them adjust at more ease. We raised our 3 boys there. My 2 oldest ones go to the Spanish immersion, Robbinsdale Spanish immersion, and my youngest is still under my care every day. Over the past 13 years, I have been blessed to care for so many children that I still keep in touch with. In fact, one of them invited me to his high school graduation next year. I'm not that old, though. In fact, I love what I do. I love what I do. It gives me the opportunity to share who I am and where I come from. I'm from Ecuador. I love teaching my native language. I love teaching them my traditions, serving home-cooked Ecuadorian meals. I love celebrating our culture every day, dancing. I love watching my little ones grow and graduate my program, fluent in Spanish, proud of their roots, kind, confident, accepting of others, and ready to start kindergarten. I deeply value the relationship we build with the parents, the communication, the trust, the sense of teamwork, and raising our children together. Yes, I could move into a commercial building, but then I would have to raise my prices a lot more, and that makes it unaffordable for working families, like all of my Maria's kids, if you want to stand and show who you are. And these are just a few. And so, no, that is not an option for me. I choose to remain in our neighborhood with supportive families, with supportive neighbors that are here tonight. Because this is not just running a business. It is about raising children together, building a community, and creating a home filled with love, culture, and belonging. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Maxine?
My name is Maxine Curtis, and I've been in the neighborhood 52 years. And I've been retired for almost 20 years right now. So I've lived next to the daycare for all of this time. And so I'm an outdoor person. I spend a lot of time outside. So I hear what's going on in the neighborhood. I hear what's going on next door. I love being next to the daycare. It's been, I can hear the teaching that's going on. I can hear the singing that's going on. I can hear the different languages that they're using. So I can see what's going on. I get up early in the morning, so I see people coming, dropping off their kids briefly and leaving. And when they're coming home in the afternoon, I can see how the kids are excited to tell the parents about what they're doing and what they've learned for that day. So I can see what has happened in the community, and it would be a devastation to the community if anything happened to that daycare. So I'm just here on behalf of them, just to kind of plead my case for them, just to let you know that it's a fine community that we live in, but it's a very, very fine daycare that they've provided. I don't want to see anything happen to that daycare. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Natalie Garcia, and I am the parent of Ryan, who just started kindergarten, and Gianna, who is 3 and recently moved up to the schoolhouse at Maria's Kids. I am also a classroom teacher at Robbinsdale Spanish Immersion and an adjunct professor at the University of Minnesota. I could give you an hour-long presentation about all the reasons my family loves Maria's Kids, but I just want to focus on my perspective as a teacher. As both a teacher and a professor who prepares future educators, I see every day how high-quality early childhood programs lay the foundation for lifelong success. As a teacher, I can immediately tell when a child has come from Maria's Kids. Their language skills, focus, and love for learning are evident from day one. These children arrive in kindergarten confident, curious, and ready to learn. Their Spanish proficiency and school readiness are exceptional. I have taught numerous graduates from Maria's Kids, one of which is here tonight, and they consistently stand out as leaders and role models in the classroom. Their foundation from Maria's Kids gives them a clear advantage, allowing them to thrive academically and socially in dual language programs. I was blown away watching the preschool graduation of my son Ryan last spring. Children were counting, they were dancing, reading, giving mini speeches, all in Spanish. Some of those skills go beyond what my second graders could currently do yet today. That speaks volumes about the quality of education and care happening every day at Maria's Kids. Maria, I didn't ask about this, but we do a huge Dia de los Muertos event where the kids dance, and it's a wonderful community building event that we are all super excited about. So when I teach my pre-service teachers about best practice in early childhood education, strong language models, meaningful play, and intentional instruction is exactly what Maria's Kids embodies. It's the model we hope for future teachers, that future teachers will create in their own classrooms. Programs like Maria's Kids don't just teach language, they open doors. Bilingual and biliteracy are academic, social, and professional advantages. This program gives children access to that from the very start. Maria's Kids is not just a daycare, it's a community, it's a family, it's our village, a place that develops bilingual, respectful, and globally minded learners. Losing it would be heartbreaking, not only for our family, but all of the families here tonight, and a tremendous loss for our community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Do we still have time on the topic? Is it
Yeah,
okay?
go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
we
try
can.
to make it quick. So, good evening, Mayor Deschler and City Council members. Thanks for taking the time to hear from all of us tonight. My name is Blake Verdon. I've lived in Crystal with my wife, Hannah, for over 10 years at 6001 38th Avenue North. And we're here tonight to also express our strong support for Maria's Kids Spanish Immersion Daycare. Our daughter, who's 2.5, currently attends Maria's, and our newborn, Vera, here with me tonight, is scheduled to start in January 2026 on the side of the daycare that's now at risk of being closed. Honestly, in all my years as a proud Crystal resident, it's the first time that I've truly felt let down by our city. You know, I'm deeply disappointed with how the city really handled this situation. If the closure moves forward, it won't just affect my family, but lots of families here today. And honestly, parents left scrambling for affordable infant child care, which is nearly impossible to find on short notice. Minnesota, if you don't know, is facing a full-blown child care crisis. The average annual cost of infant child care here, $22,569, making us the third most expensive state in the country. To put that in perspective, infant child care on average costs $9,474, or 72% more per year than the average in-state four-year college, public college over the same time period last year. And a major driver of this crisis is the rapid decline of in-home daycares like Maria's. Minnesota has experienced a net loss of 50% of its in-home childcare capacity in the past 15 years, with 4,000 or almost 40% of that total loss being in the last 10 years. You know, Mayor Deschler, I know you noted earlier this year while attending the New Horizon Academy opening that you saw a lot of babies when you were door knocking for your campaign. The New Horizon officials called Crystal a child care desert, and their CEO said, and quote, "It's an underserved area and there's not enough child care capacity for the families with little kids in this community." And if you look at the interactive University of Minnesota child care accessibility map, the map and the data don't lie, it is. While closing one in-home daycare might seem minor, the proposed action would eliminate 8% of all infant family child care spots in the city of Crystal. And for our family and many here today, closure would be devastating. Infant care, especially family-based care, which is really the only affordable type, requires booking at least a year in advance. Honestly, people plan when to get pregnant over provider openings. We learned this the hard way with our first child. We reached out to 40 in-home providers 8 months in advance of care being needed, and was told the same thing over and over: no infant openings. I still have the spreadsheet of that search today. We are lucky to get a spot at Maria's for Audra, and obviously when we were pregnant with Vera, we let them know right away so we'd be able to get a spot. And I also want to just speak directly to kind of what sparked this action at the daycare, some potential traffic concerns. Removing one side of Maria's does not proportionally reduce traffic. When Vera starts in January, 6 of the 9 spots of the closing side belong to families with siblings already on the preschool side. So in real terms, we're talking about a net reduction of 3 vehicles twice a day, like for probably max 5 minutes during drop-off time. Maria's Kids is a rare and an incredibly valuable part of our city. It's the only Spanish immersion daycare in Crystal, center or in-home, and it's one of the only options that's financially accessible to working families. Similar programs cost twice as much elsewhere in the cities. Let me just end with this. If this closure proceeds, 9 families will lose care. 6 families, including mine, will be split between 2 different providers across the metro, if we're lucky to find care. Parents could be forced to leave the workforce. We'll lose nearly half of the Spanish immersion spots in our city, and all of this potentially to reduce traffic by 3 cars a day for 5 minutes at a time. The city and state are in desperate need of affordable childcare. Instead of making it harder on these providers to operate, we should be doing everything that we can to support and encourage them. We really urge the City of Council to stand with us and Maria's kids through this process, support the full operation of the daycare, and help us protect what's best for the families and children of the City of Crystal. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Krista Toomcook, and I'm here tonight with my husband, Francisco. We are parents to 2 boys, Leo, who's 13, and Oliver, who's 3. Both of my sons, 10 years apart, have attended Maria's Kids. My oldest, Leo, started in the nursery and is now a thriving 8th grader with straight A's. The success, I firmly believe, is rooted in the strong educational foundation that Maria's Kids provides. Maria prepares the children academically and emotionally for the challenges they will face at school. They nurture curiosity, build essential skills, and foster a love of learning that stays with kids long after they leave, and my oldest is proof of that. My youngest son, Oliver, runs into daycare each morning, excited to learn. This daycare is a place where he feels safe and deeply loved, which brings us as parents peace of mind. As working parents, it's never easy to send your child to daycare, but knowing he's in a nurturing environment where he's truly cared for makes it a little easier to let go and focus on our day. We chose Maria's because it feels like family. If you walk into the daycare, you can see and feel the love immediately. It isn't a cold center environment with revolving teachers that barely know your child's name. The teachers there know each child and family personally, celebrating their milestones and providing individualized care, making families like mine feel truly supported. Maria's Kids offers something truly rare for this community, a Spanish language, culturally responsive childcare in a warm, home-based setting that's also affordable. As a longtime public servant myself, the affordability is essential. There's nothing else like Maria's in this area, especially not at a cost that working families like ours can manage. Maria provides more than just childcare. She provides trust, stability, love, which is especially important when you don't have a lot of family to lean on for support. If Maria's Kids is forced to close, our family would lose more than a daycare. We would lose a support system. We would struggle to find care that meets our family's cultural, emotional, and developmental needs, and Oliver would lose a place where he is flourishing. Maria's Kids has consistently met Minnesota state licensing requirements and adheres fully to the Crystal City Code regulations, which allows for in-home daycare as a permitted use in both a principal residence and an accessory dwelling. It is alarming that the impetus for this action appears to be one neighbor's complaint about cars temporarily parking on the public streets during brief drop-off and pickup windows. These visits are typical of any childcare setting and are neither unusual nor disruptive in a residential area. To move forward towards a closure of a licensed facility on such grounds is not only disproportionate, but it sets a dangerous precedent for the future of in-home providers across this city. For the city to pressure the closure of a fully compliant, licensed, culturally significant, and community-trusted childcare provider is both unjust and inequitable. It raises serious questions about the motivations behind this action and whether the city is truly committed to supporting diverse working families. Eliminating this daycare will not only disrupt the lives of numerous families who rely on this every day for consistent and quality care, it will eliminate one of the few linguistically and culturally appropriate early childhood options in this area. In a time when affordable, reliable childcare is really scarce, the action is short-sighted and harmful. I urge you all to help support Maria's Kids. Decisions that impact families and children so directly must be rooted in lawful, transparent processes, not based on isolated complaints and vague interpretations of the code. Thank you.
Thank you very much. No other. I can tell you run a great daycare, and you've got the love and support of your customers or families. So, but again, we aren't going to discuss it this evening. We definitely heard your message loud and clear. We want to thank you for speaking this evening. And I guess on November 10th, there will be a City Council public hearing, or a Planning Commission public hearing at 7 o'clock, right here in this council chambers, correct? And then after that is concluded, then the council will discuss it. So for now, they're obviously allowed to have their children cared for there, right?
I believe through the end of the year is what the
Through the end of the year, well, until a decision is made, okay. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I'll pray for you. All right, there was nobody else here to speak for open forum except for the budget, and we will, like I said, we'll address that when we get to that topic. First item on our agenda is we're going to consider civil penalties for a violation of a liquor license by Purple Rose Lounge Corporation. Doing business as Purple Rose Lounge, located at 5526 West Broadway. Oh, the blue line, but it also says taxes.
Blue line is more important than the taxes. Well, kind of in a way, it's a little bit hand in hand.
Okay, well, okay, then I apologize.
The reason we came here is we actually saw the newscast today about the 16% increase, but we're also very concerned about the blue line. I've heard a little bit about it here and there. I've heard it's a $3.2 billion project. You know, you were talking about a 16% increase in property taxes. Then what happens if this blue line goes through? Where are our property taxes going to go in addition to this 16% increase? We all know what's going on these days. Everything is going through the roof. House insurance, I mean, you name it, food, everything. And it's just it's almost getting ridiculous how, and not to mention what this blue line could put. I hear the ridership is not there. Eden Prairie Blue Line has failed, essentially. It's down there, sitting there, doing nothing.
Well, I think they're in a testing phase or something, but.
Well, it's.
Well, the thing is, you guys, I mean.
Yes, right.
I just want to kind of bring this under control. Really, the decision for the light rail is above our pay grade, above my pay grade. I guess I won't speak for other. It is really a county project as well as a state. We can say that we don't really want it through Crystal all we want. The thing is, in my opinion, it's going to get jammed down our throat, whether you like it or not. Wow. I would like to tell you it's different, but that's my 2 cents about it.
Well, I've heard.
Wait, just one at a time.
Well, and then not to mention what it could potentially do with crime. I don't know, it just, I mean, you guys can hear what, yeah, I get that, it's probably above, but if the more you say, maybe it could be stopped. We had a police officer come to our neighborhood a few weeks ago, and he basically says, yeah, it's gonna happen. But we're just here to just hopefully somehow stop it.
Yeah.
The ridership's not there. Again, the ridership's not there. It's just the money it's going to cost.
Yeah, I mean, you could sit and tell me all you want, but there's nothing we can do. You know, where you have to really spend your time and energy, in my opinion, is there's a corridor management committee that meets. I think the next meeting is this Thursday, right? 1 o'clock.
1:30.
1:30. And it's at the Haywood Garage in pretty much downtown Minneapolis, right off of, 55?
55, right
And
across
kind of
from-
like by Lindale.
Okay.
It's open to the public. I don't know that you can comment there. There's also a Facebook page that I kind of follow called Stop Light Rail Now. Have you
Yeah.
seen that one?
Well, I heard some of the representatives on the
so-
radio talking about it. He
Right.
says-
Go to that Facebook page if you're on Facebook and join that group, and you can hear about all sorts of meetings, things and places to go to, kind of get on the bandwagon to try to stop the Met Council from implementing it. But it really is really not in our wheelhouse.
Okay.
So I apologize. Here, you need to come up to the podium and say your name.
I was coming here to hear about the taxes because, yeah.
But if you're talking about,
60% last year and they're gonna.
well, we are going to talk about taxes, but not right now.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the only reason why I came here.
Okay.
I saw it on the news.
It- it will-
But I have input on this too, because like I said, they're closing down the light rail coming from, they're showing that they're not feasible.
Well,
And then, okay, so my question was, okay, we come here, we voice our opinions, and do you not go to the council meetings, or do you not have input for us, for Crystal?
For city property. For any,
Only for city property?
yes, for any actions that involve city property.
Well, this is gonna jack up our city property.
But it's
So-
a county project on county land. So anything that's adjoining county land, which is city property, that's what we voice our concerns about. So West Broadway, Bass Lake Road, what else is in there? Like, for instance, anything involving any type of issues involving along County Road 81, any of those commercial properties, along Lakeland, for instance, all that stuff, any type of, access to 81, those are things that
Those
we're,
people that have those kind of commercial, whatever, those are the people that have to go to the meeting that they set in the middle of the afternoon when working people, and then go downtown where it
I
costs
know.
an arm and a
it's a
leg.
long process. It's it definitely,
Well, a long process. Well, when did the process come in to vote on putting down the blue line in here?
well, the process has
Why
been,
can't they just put a bus
there is one.
that goes on 81?
Yeah,
Well-
not on 81.
please,
Okay, I'm sorry.
okay, yeah, I don't
But anyways,
mean to
yeah, I
cut
was
you
just
short.
like,
Yeah.
The
I know-
property tax, I wanted to see how the property
Trying
tax.
to stop something, can't.
Right, I get
Well,
it.
like I said, and you guys don't have any input other than the fact that it's property taxes. That is the blue line.
And the property tax increase you will see for the light rail is going to be funneled through Hennepin County and the state. They're the ones funding it. Indirectly, we're all going to pay. There's no question about it.
So all
But
of us should be
Crystal,
concerned.
we are not,
Like I said, okay, so how long had I don't know, I know you don't probably know that's what, the lane, or the bus, or the thing going from Elk River, I don't know if it's Elk River or.
North
that was
Star
a
line.
North Star.
North
Star
Star,
line.
and then, like I said, the green line, we won't even talk about the green line.
Yeah,
The
but
green
that-
line has been like 5 years overdue.
The extension, yeah. So there's an existing green line
Well,
which
yeah,
goes,
that's from downtown
Yeah.
over south, but not out
Yeah.
to Eden
Yeah.
Prairie.
right. and
That's, like
yeah.
I said, that's like, and look at how much money they had to pay out because of whoever constructed it, the apartment building, the properties over there. And like I said, I watched on the news, light rails are, I would like to know who thought this up. I'm thinking about people that are going to, on your word of honor, that you're going to pay to get in there. From the time that they started, I knew you're going to have people that are just going to jump on that and not pay, and I would like to know
Yeah.
the money
It's
that was
enforced.
lost.
It's enforced now because I've ridden
Oh,
it.
it's in-
Yeah, so I've ridden it
But
recently.
look at how many years it was up before they even did that.
You know what? Bring that concern up to the Met Council.
There we go.
That's
Yeah.
really where, but I mean, I'm with you. I hear you. Yeah.
I just want to speak just a moment on the blue line. It's going to affect our neighborhood like no tomorrow. We've had several houses up for sale that can't even sell. And we're basically going to have on Crystal property, I guess, the station, which is in our backyard. And now they're talking about moving the walking path in front on that kind of wiggly road.
You know, it's going to be a
And
couple
my-
of years before construction starts.
Well,
so
they already
hopefully we
started doing
can-
something at the corner. They've already started doing something
Okay.
at the corner. So that, it terrifies me because it's a boondoggle. It's like so ridiculous. And I've sat at all the meetings, and I've been, me and the guy from Crystal Vision, not even the person that is our council person has showed up to the meetings. So that's very distressing to me, that nobody seems to care. It seems like Crystal has not supported its neighbors. I know the people in Robbinsdale are horrified by it. The people in Brooklyn Park are horrified by it. And besides the fact that the plan just looks like so dangerous. Before we moved here, we looked into the infrastructure of the city and what was happening, and it looked like a great neighborhood, and we moved to Crystal from Medina.
I know.
And we
I know where you
told-
live, yeah.
We
You're
were
right by the
told
airport.
that the line was going to go down the BSF railway,
Yeah.
and that didn't bother us whatsoever.
This boondoggle has been going on for 20 years.
25.
20, okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now they're starting to do something on our corner.
Yeah,
They're- So I'm
Again,
horrified.
yeah, you're not
And
alone.
the fact that now we won't be able to sell our house. You know, and then the police saying that it's not going to be a safe thing. I mean, it's like, I just would hope that we get our city council behind us because it's ridiculous. We just got a nice 81. We don't need to rip it up.
Okay, we hear you. Thank you. You do have the coolest basement of anybody I've ever seen, though. I said you do have the coolest basement of anybody.
Hi, my name's Melody Bombeck, and I've been a homeowner in Crystal for almost 30 years. And to educate me, so the blue rail is happening, right?
I believe so.
Okay, so they are starting it in 2 years, or I've
They're
heard
doing
so many-
planning right now. You know, I think a lot of it hinges too on federal financing. And so, you know, if there's no. Yeah,
I mean, the reason why I ask these questions is because if this is happening, I mean, many of us who have been in our neighborhood for decades, we're all leaving, and because we don't want
Right.
the riffraff. Okay, so it most likely it is happening. I mean,
It kind of appears that way to me,
okay, okay.
You know.
but I don't know.
You know something though? Originally, that light rail was supposed to be up and running in 2021. And it was supposed to be running, like she said, on that BNSF corridor.
Yeah.
Which is right behind my apartment building. I went to all these meetings. They had the thing up in the Crystal Shopping Center. David Davies from the light rail thing. And I went to all these meetings and nothing ever happened. And I don't think it's gonna go through again.
Okay.
Especially now
Thank you,
with
Ann.
something the federal
We got to rein this in. We got so
Yeah,
much
just- I
other
have a
business
couple-
tonight.
A couple more comments. Okay, so do you have any idea, our value of our homes, I've heard that they're going to, pardon my French, but be in the shitter.
Who knows?
Based on
Okay.
market rate.
Oh, okay, so nobody knows. Okay,
It hasn't affected the Minneapolis or St. Paul property values. It shouldn't affect, you know, it doesn't look like it's going to affect the Eden Prairie values or Hopkins. So I would think likewise the same thing would happen here if the light rail goes through.
okay, I have one more
So-
question. What for me as a homeowner is, what positive is going to come out of this? I know all the negatives, and none of them are good. What is one positive thing? I'm not being sarcastic. What is one good thing that I can look for as a retired third-year homeowner with the blue rail?
You can jump on the light rail and take it all the way to the Mall of America or the airport.
I have no
St.
desire.
Paul.
I have no
Yeah.
desire to be on public
Or to
transportation.
Robbinsdale. Yeah.
I have no desire
Yeah.
to use public transportation.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
so that is the only benefit, is if I want to get on there and be knifed or shot or.
That isn't the case. I ride the light rail quite a bit. I don't see that kind of crime. And matter of fact, you know,
I do watch the news, so yeah.
I know the news tends to like report things that, you know, gets a lot of attention, but I've ridden the light rail quite a few times. There's a lot of officers that ride the train. They check for paid, you know, fares, and there's security cameras running consistently. We rode on a bus here recently, and they have a new video system where they take pictures not only inside the train, but also on the outside going around it. So there's a lot of new improvements in terms of visually for security purposes.
So do you have any idea what percentage of people in our area are going to actually be on this? 'Cause I've heard
We
that-
don't know.
You
And
don't-
look, I'm going to put a stop to this right
Okay.
now. I don't mean to be rude. I really don't. But, you know, we need to, you know, go to a Met Council meeting, go to
Okay.
the Corridor Management Committee meetings.
Okay.
Look on the Facebook page for Stoplight Rail Now if you're interested in joining some of that. There's just any number of activities going on with light rail all the
Okay,
time.
so it's
And
more of a county issue, you're saying, and a
it's a
state
county
issue,
and a,
not a city.
yeah, right.
Okay,
They're
good to know.
taking the charge,
Thanks.
so, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. This is my first time ever coming to a City Council meeting, so
Fun, isn't it?
it's great. I love it. Unfortunately, I forgot to fill out a yellow form on the open.
You can do it
forum.
when you're finished, yep.
Okay, do you guys have 2 minutes where I could just address something quick? Or
Yeah, well, it depends on what it is.
It was just about, it's not about the blue line.
Thank you.
It was just about the parking ordinances here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just state your name and your address, and then after your comments are concluded, just get with Chrissy and fill out a yellow form. And the reason we do that is so that the city can reach back out to you and with any follow-up if needed, okay?
Thank you
You
guys
can,
All right.
you can move the microphone if you need you
Oh,
to.
very nice. Okay, sweet. Well, good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Sam Soul. I'm 21. I just bought a house on 5321 Corvallis Avenue North. And I'd like to respectfully challenge the ordinance that prohibits parking on city streets between 2 to 5 a.m. I understand why this restriction's there, especially during winter months for snow removal. And I just don't understand why enforcing it all year, especially in warmer months, creates, it just creates a lot of hardship for residents. And I'm a small business owner as well. I operate my business out of my home. I have a few employees, and when they arrive early or leave vehicles overnight, they get ticketed, even though the streets are clear and there's no obstruction. And it's just a nuisance to my business, and I'm sure for other families who have a ton of cars in their driveway and they can't fit it in maybe their small driveway. So cities similar to Crystal, like Golden Valley, Robbinsdale, New Hope, they modified their seasonal overnight parking rules to be more balanced to help out the residents. And so I'd just like to ask you guys to consider, making the overnight parking restrictions seasonal or finding some other solution if there is one.
All right.
Want to jump in on that? You should let them know.
Go ahead, yeah.
All right, well, we do have temporary parking permits, which you, Sam, can ask for from the police department. So when you do have people that are visiting and staying at your property, they can place one of those parking permits on their dash, and so they will not be ticketed. Also, we do have, we have parking permits that go up till November 1st, I believe? November 1st. So you can also have a couple of those that are free, and you can have those as well. So if you do have people that seem to be staying there quite a bit, and they're parking on the street, you can put that on their dash. But the big reason why you have to be off the street is so that we can clear the snow in the wintertime. And what else makes a difference is in terms of it also helps the city in terms of vehicles that are abandoned. So when we go through and we're looking, a lot of times we catch a lot of these vehicles that have been dumped in the city. And it can, take care of a big issue that way. But we do there is some flexibility in the parking process. I just ask that you visit the police department. They'll explain the process to you.
Yes.
And certainly, we're not as, how would you say, curmudgeon-y?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that a great word?
Right, I like that word.
Yeah, as you would think. So, yeah.
Yes, I did call the police department and I talked to them about it, and I talked to them about the temporary parking permits, and I think you still have to pay and come into the city hall to get them. And so with new employees coming in and out, it's kind of hard for me to do that.
How many, that's if you have more than two. So the first two are
Per
free.
plate, I think,
Yeah.
isn't it? Not per address.
Yeah, but it would be your vehicles that you would basically can do it for, and they would park on your property, right, in your driveway? So, I mean, I currently have someone that's visiting. I'm parking my vehicle on the street, and so I actually have a parking permit, which is good till November 1st for my vehicle, so that I don't get ticketed. I've been ticketed 4 times in front of my property. I've lived in the city 28 years, and never again, okay? So, that's my advice.
Okay, just settle with it. I just bought the home and I can't park cars in front of my property. Just settle and just say, well, I got to take these tickets. I guess that's the only solution.
No, there's a seasonal, all summer long permit
Yeah.
for $35. You can get it for yourself, like he said, and use it, and then you will not get ticketed. And then if you have guests visiting or somebody for a 2-week short-term, period, you can get the first 2 permits for free, and then the second 2, there is a fee associated with them.
Okay.
So there is some workaround. We're trying to be somewhat flexible in today's world, but not let the parking get out of control.
Yes, I appreciate your guys' flexibility. I still don't understand why I can't park, cars in front of my property, but I'll look into that and just tell my guys, hey, you got to pay the $35 or whatever happens.
Okay.
Bottom line, you own the property, but the street belongs to the city, so,
You're right.
yeah.
Thank you,
Unfortunately,
guys.
that's how it
Okay.
goes.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
And you should have known that or checked into that before you.
And, okay. And, please. And anybody else here to speak for open forum? Yes, sir.
I'd like to readdress the issue on the raceway on Louisiana Avenue. My name is James Tuzina. I was here a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And between Bass Lake Road, southbound to 54th Avenue, basically.
I have the traffic study that the city just finished and completed on my phone.
Okay.
And if you would like me to email it to you, I will be happy to, because it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what? Do you know who Craig Kraft is?
Yes,
he
well,
died.
Unfortunately, he was my neighbor.
Honest to God, because he was the one that called me all the time about the speeding.
Yep.
And
He was kind of like the neighborhood watchdog, you know.
yeah, and then I got the study, and his wife wrote to me that he passed away, and I
Yeah.
oh my God, I didn't get him that study. So I did send it to her,
Yeah.
but I'm happy to send it to you. So
And like I say, last time I was here, I was with Craig, and we were led to believe that there's going to be what them signs you guys got that tells the speed monitor or whatever it's called, was going to be set up within a 2 or 3 week period, I thought, or maybe longer. But it's been 2 months and we still haven't seen
well,
it.
it was the traffic study that was our understanding, and why don't you give your phone number to Chrissy if you don't mind?
Sure.
And then let me follow up with you tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
I could
All right.
stop over and show you that study, which I think you're going to find interesting. And then I'll follow up on the traffic.
Can you follow up with tomorrow? Call tomorrow? or-
I'll call you tomorrow morning, yeah.
Okay.
Probably about 9:30, 10.
Okay.
Before price is right. I like to talk on the phone.
Before Wapner.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Chrissy, did you get it? Okay, okay. All right, anybody else for open forum? Okay, now we are going to go to regular agenda. Holy cats, it's 8:15. Okay, the council will consider civil penalties for violations of liquor license regulations by Purple Rose Lounge Corporation. Purple Rose Lounge, located at 5526 West Broadway. Chief? Oh, Chrissy, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. As you may recall, in December of 2024, the Crystal Police Department conducted routine compliance checks at liquor establishments throughout the city. During these checks, Purple Rose Lounge did not pass. The individual went through the court process and now the city is doing the administrative process. Thank you. The licensee was provided with notice of the violation as well as tonight's meeting in accordance with our standard procedures. This is considered a first liquor license violation for this licensee. In keeping with the civil penalties that were in effect at the time of the incident, staff is recommending a $750 fine and a one-day license suspension. The owner of Purple Rose Lounge is not present at tonight's meeting, but has submitted a letter to the city manager acknowledging the violation, and a copy of that letter has been provided to you.
Okay. Does anybody have any further questions about this with Chrissy?
Do they sell food there, or is it just,
Yes.
yes? They can, so if they're closed for a day, they can still continue to sell food, right?
Councilmember Kaiser, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I guess since they're not here, they don't want a hearing. So I guess we're going to just move to a vote or a motion. John?
I make that motion.
What is your motion for?
I make a motion that based on the staff report, including the findings that contained therein and the other information presented regarding this matter, that a penalty of $750 and a one-day license suspension be imposed in this case.
Anybody want to second it? Tracy?
I will second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next one is the council will consider civil penalties for a violation of a liquor license regulations by Zahed Beverage Group, doing business as Crystal Liquor Warehouse located at 6200 56th Avenue North. And I think, can we do them all as one or just individual?
This is just for liquor.
Okay. All right,
Thanks.
go ahead.
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. Crystal Liquor Warehouse also did not pass the alcohol compliance checks in December of 2024. The individual has been through the court process, and the licensee was provided notice of the violation as well as tonight's meeting. This is considered a first liquor violation for this licensee. Staff is recommending a $750 fine and a one-day license suspension. It appears that the owner of Crystal Liquor Warehouse is here tonight to speak to the council at your pleasure.
Would you like to come on up? Do you, okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Honorable City Council. Last time I came here, that was 2019, and it's very nice to come here every time I come, actually. Today is the day that I did not become here, actually, but I have to be. Right before I came, I ran a report right here that gives me a last 12 months of our total customer that we served from today's date to 12 months back, and how many transactions that we did. So what I find out that last 12 months we did about 152,000 transaction or customers that we sold, and I've been doing this. I took this, I granted license back in 2019, so it's almost 5 to 6 years. In this 5 to 6 years, we served over 912,000 to over 1 million sales with customers. Never had one single ticket, and every year my store was been compliance checked, and we passed 2-3 times actually, if I can recall in average. This time we had a person that we are just going to hire that person on that day, and he was there for only 2 hours in my store. And I think that's what the mishap happened, right? That he's not even in our payroll, and he's not even a regular employee. So I'd like to have a hearing for this, about this one. And number two, that that compliance checks that happened, they also tied. And I think that is not a good way to do. I mean, I'm doing business for this, this city for 6 years. We properly run the business. We are here for when it was a pandemic time for our city. We've been open. Personally, me and my wife, she's right here. We actually got assaulted personally for not selling the liquor to a minor. And that minor actually hit me and my wife when my wife was pregnant right there. Anyways, that person got arrested and stuff like that. So we are very, very, very serious, because this is our livelihood, about, prevent this type of violation or anything like that. And it was very sad to see that that complaint check that they did with a cigarette and a liquor together, so they can get me in 2 violation in a 1. So I feel like this is a double jeopardy or double punishment for me, even though it's a 1 single incident happened, 1 transaction basically, and that's how we got that tobacco license violation and that liquor violation. all I can assure you that, as I said, we serve a lot of people. We never got a ticket. I'm known for, in my area, in that city, in my store and my customers, we are very strict about asking IDs. We had lots of problems happen, as I said. I get assaulted before, my wife get assaulted before, my employees get assaulted before, not to selling the liquors, because we ask the ID and stuff. So we are very serious about that. We do everything it possible. So my store, as I said, I can say proudly here, is all safe. I mean, that isolated incident, wrong timing with that new guy just came on that same day, unfortunately. So you don't have to worry about that. My store is being, is compromised. It's not compromised. It is, we have, obviously, we decided we will never ever put any new trainee on the register. All our employees, they have all the TIP certifications, and I think she knows about that also. All I'm just saying that that tobacco license and the liquor license on the same time, on the same day, with the same compliance check, I think it's just not fair that way, and that's one. And there's a one I seen, which is I just seen today. That's on number. That was in on B. It says there's a second violation, but that is, I just came to my knowledge right now. I didn't know about this one. So that is not a selling minor or anything like that. So that is, it says that, so basically what happened that when the wholesalers sell the cigarettes to us, and they sell those cigarettes and they put stamps right there.
Tax stamp.
Tax stamp, right. So I think they do by some area or something. So what they did on that day, I think, that, so that was like a 9 or 10 carton out of we order 50, 60, 100, doesn't matter, regular basis. So the wholesaler gave us a wrong cigarette with the stem. So that is, this number B should be, I feel like that should be dropped 100% because we have no control what wholesaler putting their stamp. So what they did, they just basically give that 9 or 10 cigarette packet by mistake with our order. And then when the inspector came for this Minnesota Department of Revenue, he saw that one. And then I also show him the invoices, and it shows exactly that 10, I think there was a Marlboro Light or something, so that exactly that 10 that we ordered from the wholesaler, and those are the 10 was mistake. And, I spoke to the manager for this inspector right here. He spoke to the manager, the owner of that, the wholesaler. They acknowledged that. And, they gave me back the cigarettes that they took because those are, I have that's not any fault right here, basically. So here I am. I'm just wanted to explain this, that especially number B should be completely, shouldn't be, completely dropped. And I would like you guys to consider that. As I said, I've been doing this for a long time, especially in this city, and I take pride of what we do. We are very, very careful. We never had any tickets, never, ever, ever happened, just until that day. And I'm doing this actually, prior to that, I'm in a liquor business one way or other about since 2002. I always proud myself. I never ever had one single ticket on my name or my stores that I owned prior. I own 2 other stores also in Mounds View and one in Bloomington. As I said, we have a very strict policy about selling liquors. Our POS system is So as I said, the problem was not my system, problem was not my employee. The problem was the employee that just came to work for on that day, which is a brand new guy,
Yeah.
and happened to happen on that day, basically.
All right,
So
well, we
I'll-
kind of, we had opened the hearing. You made your comments. Is there anybody else in the audience that wants to speak at this public hearing about the liquor store? And then does council members have questions for this gentleman?
I do. Sir? Hi. You spoke about, at your other two stores, you have a point-of-sale system which requires swiping or of the driver's license, is that correct?
Yes, sir. So it does.
The other two stores?
Other two store, we do have that one. So this is what happened.
Wait,
Yeah,
slow down.
sorry.
So with this store?
Yes.
You do not have that point-of-sale system?
I do have that system.
You do have that system?
I do have that system. And what happened is that, so there's two things. One, you have to scan the ID so it can unlock the transaction.
The register?
Register.
Yeah.
And there's another way to do. Now the Crystal store, because we have people can get very difficult here. Some people, if there's a older man come and we're asking scan, ID every single time, who's already been here so many times. So we have a one that we can bypass that one. Like, so you just type something 1111 and you just bypass that so it can go. So what happened, that guy when he was there and the cashier who actually my regular payroll, he went to the bathroom and he was right there and he said to him that, okay, I'm just going to go to the bathroom, just stay here for 15 to 10 minutes and I'm come back. That's what happened. And I guess that's what exactly the timing was bad.
So, sir?
Yes.
So at all three of your stores?
Yes.
You can bypass the point-of-sale system of checking for IDs?
Two store not.
So the other two stores you cannot?
You cannot.
But at this store you can bypass that? Yeah.
Yes.
And typically it gets bypassed? That's what you're telling me?
No, not typically. It gets bypassed if there is like a regular customer comes, and then if someone is like somebody looking older, and then it can bypass.
So in this case, this individual did not look older that was buying at the store?
Yes.
That's correct. And so this individual chose to bypass the scanning system. He was not, or was it a gentleman or?
It's a gentleman, yes.
A gentleman that was?
Yes.
He was not asked to bypass the system?
He was never authorized to do that bypass.
But he was never asked to? He just did it?
He just did it.
He just did it?
He just did it.
Yeah, so that's an issue. And that's part of the issue that we're dealing with here right now. As a licensee holder, you're responsible to make sure that your employees card everybody, right?
Yes.
That's under the age of 40, right?
Yes.
And maybe everybody, right?
Actually, we say like 45, so I just say if
So
anybody
45.
45.
Yeah. And so in this case, I mean, there was no indication that for this person to bypass the system. And so therefore, they made an egregious error. And that's what we're dealing with right now.
This person, I'm not sure what was he thinking.
Yeah.
He just did it.
Yeah. And that's the culture of your store is that you have to nail that down. You have to make sure that there are no opportunities to sell.
Even bypass.
To bypass or to sell, to, in this case, underage. And I mean the ID.
Yes.
The ID that was presented to this individual says on it that they're under 21. It does. It's clearly printed on there that they're under 21. That's a problem. And with this alcohol violation, sir,
Right.
there is no way around this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is something that, this is part of, partnering with us here at Crystal in terms of selling liquor.
Yes.
This is what you're responsible for, is you have to make sure that those liquor sales are not going out to underage buyers.
100%.
100%, and we're in agreement there.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I understand that this is your first violation, But this should be your last violation. I should never, ever see you again when it comes to liquor.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, not going to happen.
Yes,
right?
we locked it. I locked
Yeah,
it right
not
away.
going to happen.
And
But-
that guy was
but
the
it-
first 2 hours, and that's it, 2 hours. He just did this damage to us.
Yes, and we're in complete agreement on this thing. This is your violation. You're going to have a $750 fine, and you're going to have a 1-day license suspension. And you're going to be able to work with our city clerk on what day that license suspension is going to be. And that's just part of the growing pains of owning a liquor store. And I know you're going to do a better job because you've been telling me here now for about the last 20 minutes about how you're going to make sure that this never ever happens again.
Right.
Yeah, and likewise, I mean, if there's some way that you can talk to your vendor for your point of sale system to get rid of that bypass,
Yes.
that'll make your life a lot easier. I don't
We have
care
done
who
that
comes
already.
there and complains about it.
We're just
Yeah,
gonna,
yeah.
yes. We
But
have done that
But the
already.
goal here is to prevent underage sales.
Definitely,
Yeah, yeah.
definitely.
And I also want you to understand we send the compliance team out, the police department out to do these random checks. And they are doing their job, and they do their job, and they do it in such a way that there is no wiggle room in terms of any kind of error in the process. And it's totally on you and your business and your employees to make sure you get it right. Back off, right?
Well,
Anyways, I'm sorry, sir.
No,
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. I know the gravity of this. I've been doing this for a long time.
Yes.
This is my business. This is what we do, our survival. Me and my wife, and I have 3 kids. And we're not going to jeopardize our life that. Now, as I said, I just don't know what that person was thinking. He's been told, he's been like 50 times maybe told right before that. I just don't know what he was thinking. And I know I don't control their mind, but it just happened. What can we do? One thing I would request, not to suspend for a day. Personally, I don't believe that any necessary. The city is not any jeopardy of anything. We are bulletproof now on that one. We cut that thing, so I would just request that if we can at least waive that suspension. That is my request.
Anybody else have comments?
Madam Mayor, members of the council, if I could just also just want to note that there are 3 separate.
I know.
Yeah, this is the first one.
So just for the alcohol.
Right, the first is the alcohol, and then the second on our agenda is the cigarettes, which he's already explained what happened, so we shouldn't have to hear about that.
So the alcohol and the cigarette was the same day with the same couple.
Exactly.
But procedurally, you need to address them separately.
Okay.
So there should be 3 separate votes for the 3 violations.
It's the third one that I have a little heartburn with. I don't understand that one.
We're about to find out.
Okay, all right. So right now, if there's no other comments about the first violation, the alcohol.
If the council has any questions about the third one, I can explain
Well,
more.
we'll talk about that when we get to that one. So any other comments by the council members? Okay. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. I make a motion that based on the staff report, including the findings contained therein, and the other information presented regarding this matter, that a penalty of $750 and a 1-day license suspension be imposed in this case.
Is there a second? Taji?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, the next item is essentially the same thing, although it's tobacco than alcohol. And we already know what happened. So is there any questions from staff or council members about this particular one, the tobacco?
Question, making sure I understand this right, this was one transaction. The decoy went in and bought alcohol and beer at the same time? Okay, thank you.
And tobacco.
So
Alcohol and tobacco, excuse me.
So a 1-day suspension, I mean, would that be taken care of with the liquor already being a 1-day suspension?
Madam Mayor, it could be.
What?
It could
Excuse
be.
me, it could be.
Okay. So it's not a separate one-day closure?
That would be the prerogative of the council. There is a minimum state fine of the $300 for the first violation, but the council, it's at the council's discretion regarding the suspensions as to if they're concurrent or separate, or not at all. And again, just to note, there are 2 separate tobacco violations. This is the first one for the underage sale.
Tashi?
I'd like to make a motion.
All right.
I make a motion that based on the staff report, including the findings contained therein and the other information presented regarding this matter, that a penalty of $750 and a one-day license suspension be imposed in this case.
Second?
I second that motion.
I knew you would. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So then just work with Chrissy.
We're not done.
I know.
Okay.
I'm just saying about the suspension.
Quick question, the suspension for both violations can be the same day, correct?
That's what I just asked Chrissy. They're
Yeah.
going to work on it, but I guess maybe we have to decide that.
That's what I thought. We
Or
had
do you want to just have Chrissy work on it?
Council should decide if they are separate suspensions or can be run concurrently.
You know, my feeling is the violation, the police department went in and did both, a 2-for-1 kind of. I think maybe our suspension should be one day and then a fine for cigarettes and a fine for alcohol. It's where I'm at on it.
I agree. I'll make that motion that
Okay.
the suspension will be concurrent for both violations.
Do we need to vote on it?
You should have a second and a separate vote, please.
So I just made the motion.
Correct. We will need a second and then a vote on that new motion that's been made.
So let's be clear what the motion is.
My motion is that the fine will be separate for the tobacco violation, but the one-day suspension of the license will be the same day for both the tobacco violation and the alcohol violation. So they'll only have to close one day.
Okay,
That's my motion.
I think that's a good resolution.
I'll second that.
Hey, we still have another, issue that we need to discuss.
I
which
know, but we are
has a
voting
penalty
on this one.
and so that would be an additional?
Yes.
Okay, on top of it. Because you could have it all, in congruent, let's put it that way. Yeah.
I asked about that, and it was 3 separate issues.
Okay. All right. You making the second on that motion, Mayor?
Tracy seconded it.
Tracy already seconded.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion
Opposed.
carried. Oh, okay. Well, we need a roll call.
Councilmember Kaiser.
Aye.
Councilmember Vanessa Rosen.
Aye.
Councilmember Budaszewski.
Nay.
Councilmember Cumming.
Aye.
Mayor Deschler.
Aye.
Councilmember Kamich.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, this next one is something I'm not sure that I understand. And so, Chief, are you standing up to talk about it or no?
Certainly not.
Okay, so this is a violation. This is how I see it, okay? That's why I need some clarity. That they're selling cigarettes that didn't have the tax stamp. Department of Revenue caught them or did something and dealt with them on that issue. So why are we getting involved?
So when the state does their own inspections on products, they issue the citation, and they have 60 days to appeal that with the state. When they notify the city that the inspection failed or whatever the issue was, then they also notify us when the appeal period has ended, and that once it's similar to the court proceeding for an underage compliance check violation, and then it's the city is able to do the administrative penalties. And so that 60-day period did pass with no appeal. So it's effectively in place. So the state has its own penalty process, and now we are at the cities because it is a violation of the license terms.
So if, as you said, your wholesaler gave you some incorrect cigarettes, why wouldn't you appeal it to the state and fight it?
Just want to be clear a little bit. The cigarette had the stamp, actually. So I think they have like a zone-wise, like, maybe Mounds View City is one, or Crystal City, or New Hope City all together. They have those tax stamps, I believe. This is how it works. So they did have the stamp. So what happened basically when the wholesaler came with their van, and they delivers many other stores, not only my store. So someone from them, they made a mistake, put their cigarette or 8 or 9 carton or something in our order. So that's what happened. So when
Then why didn't you go to the state and have it rescinded?
Yes, I did talk to the state, and I did talk to one of the manager for the state. He actually did spoke to the owner of the wholesaler, and they find out that was the mistake by them. They gave me back the cigarettes because that was not my mistake, or I didn't do anything bad here. They did give me back the cigarettes. So I didn't know that's even any violation because I just seen this today, right now.
So are you finished with the state proceedings? Or is it still?
No, it was gone because they find out that it was a mistake from the wholesaler. I have nothing to do with it. They gave me back the seized cigarette back to me. That's what happened. And I thought it was the end of the story right here. There's nothing I did here.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, the information we have from September 30th, when we were getting clarification from the state, was that they will be destroying the product and not taking any more action on the seizure. That's the information that we received from the state on September 30th. So
Because they are saying that it's not his fault?
they sent us that it had passed, and because the judicial appeal deadline had passed, they were not returning the product, and then they would be destroying it. So this is the information that the city has.
Yeah, I disagree with that because they gave me the product back. I still have the number for their actual manager from Department of Revenue. I spoke to them right there, and he spoke to the owner of the wholesaler. So and then I didn't receive any of nothing, no tickets or nothing. So I'm not sure what they did right here. So I would like to see in more about that. And I'd like to talk to that manager that I spoke to him back in March. I thought that there's no issue right there after that because they find out that it was given from the wholesaler.
Well, my recommendation would be the staff can verify with the state again, just to clarify based on the information we received tonight, and then it can be tabled to the next meeting.
Okay, I agree with that.
Consideration.
Okay.
'Cause it's
I think
different than
that's
what we were
fair.
told.
All right, so
Need a motion, yeah.
Please. I can make that motion. I make a motion that we table the discussion on the second liquor contraband violation till. Tobacco, sorry, for next meeting.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt briefly, Mayor and Council. If we are going to continue the public hearing that has started tonight as part of these proceedings to also allow for the owner to be heard at the meeting as to which you will be tabling this, you should set that date and time if you would like to continue this public hearing.
Okay.
So what is that?
7 o'clock on the 21st.
Okay, so table it until 7 o'clock on October 21st.
And continue the public hearing.
And continue the public hearing,
Thank
sorry.
you, thank you, Councilmember.
I will second that.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it's tabled then until the next council meeting.
Mayor, how do I know when that suspension going to be in effect? What day?
Chrissy will be getting in touch with you.
Sure. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.
All right. Next item is we are going to receive a presentation on the 2026 budget and the levies, as well as provide an opportunity for the residents to speak. Finally, I didn't, but you think you'd never get here. We still have meetings after this, too.
Are you saying I talk too much?
No. Okay, I'm sorry. Our city manager, Adam Bell, is going to lead the discussion, but we need quiet so that the viewing audience out in TV land can hear it.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. I hope I hope you're ready for even more excitement tonight. I'm not going to go through the entire budget presentation because we went through the whole thing before. Just to give you a reminder of the timeline, though, so the council did pass the preliminary levy and budget on September 16th. October 7th tonight, that is the additional public input meeting. So there really wasn't expected a lot of council discussion at this point. We will be having some discussion during the work session, but this really is an additional opportunity for the public to provide feedback on the proposed preliminary levy and budget that were adopted. What I really want to get to is we did add a couple new updated slides, and this is available in the packet for the public if they wanted to go look at more of the actual numbers. As you can see, the wages and benefits for the budget increase is about 52%. It constitutes 52% of the increase. The new positions are about 12% of the additional budget cost. The planned internal service for the council, if you remember what those are, it's the internal, each department is charged for fleet, for building costs, for new equipment and IT services, insurance, et cetera. The service contracts, those went up by 8%. And then the reserves, the 6% of the budget increase, that's the additional $200,000. This just gives the similar information in the levy perspective, but that's for the general fund replenishment. It's $200,000 additional dollars this year. For a total of $1 million of the overall levy. As you see, the wages and benefits, that includes all of the people, but not the new positions. The services that the city provides, they're provided by people. So that's always going to be a large percent of the city budget. Again, the overall, just the general fund budget this year, it's $26,247,000, which is a 12% budget increase. I'm sorry, 13% budget increase rounded up over last year. We were coming in at about a 14.5% levy back in December when we do our 2-year budgeting, but with some of the additional inflationary costs as well as a couple of the new positions, it's up to the 15.87. So this is another chart that was added for the general fund expenditures. As you can see, this is where the dollars are going. Public safety, that actually went down 1%, but it's still, almost half of what the city provides in services is public safety as far as costs. That includes police and fire. Public works, again, another fifth of the overall budget. I won't spend a lot of time on those. So the property tax levy, because that's what actually impacts the taxpayers, that, as you can see, is the 15.87%. Last year, as was in the news, and it wasn't really clarified very well, but last year was the 16%, 16.08%. And the actual tax impact, if you recall, most residents did not experience a 16% tax increase. That was the levy increase. There was some shifting between commercial and residential, as it does. The single-family housing is taxed at a different rate than the commercial and residential, the commercial industrial. Multifamily is taxed differently than single-family. Affordable housing is taxed at a quarter of what single-family housing is. So any of those changes do make a difference in how much individual tax burdens are, because it's spread out differently amongst the type of property. So this is what was the preliminary increase, preliminary levy that was adopted is just not including the EDA, it was at 15.31, but when you add in the EDA, it's up to the 15.87. Our tax rate did go up 12.25%. This is much more in line. I don't have the specific numbers today, but New Hope's tax rate has been in the 60s for mid-60s for quite a few years. Just as a comparable city, because we're very similarly sized, we provide this similar services. And just one other thing, their New Hope's tax levy, 2 years ago, it was about $4 million more than Crystal. So Crystal, as we've discussed over the last 2 years, Crystal has been under-taxing comparatively to a lot of the neighboring communities. And this year, their tax, or theirs is $22 million. It's like $300,000 difference from Crystal's. Now, Crystal does not have franchise fees. So that $22 million, almost 22.5 with a 22,404, New Hope has 1.2 million, just over $1.2 million in franchise fees that also goes to the same services that Crystal provides. So as we've talked about, that's Crystal for a long time, for many years, over a decade, it's all been in the tax levy. So it makes it really difficult to compare apples to apples. And even if you try to compare apples to apples, they're different types of apples. You've heard me say that in the work sessions. We don't do franchise fees currently. We don't do street assessments, which some of the neighboring communities do. All of our revenue for taxes really have just come from the property tax levy. So there's a built-in higher amount of tax increases because it's all in the tax levies. That's one of the things that we are discussing is how to diversify that revenue. We don't plan on going back on assessments, but as the council has been talking about, maybe franchise fees are something that we want to talk about doing to offset or ease some of the burden on the tax levy. That's something that we have not been doing for quite some time. Also, all the other communities do issue regular general obligation debt, which then gets paid off. When interest rates are low, it can really make sense because the people who are living in the city at that time are then paying for it. As opposed to street assessments, you're getting hit with a $8,000 to $15,000 assessment at one point. You could move in a couple years later and not experience that benefit of that improvement. Whereas issuing debt, there is a time and a place for it, as we've discussed, and so that's something that, unlike the neighboring communities, Crystal has not been doing for the last decade. So that's again differentiates what Crystal's tax burden is. So this is what was approved. For the median home in 2020, these are based on 25 values. The median home value is $293,400. What that equates to, based on the adopted levy, the preliminary levy, is about $243 a year. Per month, it's right at about $20. And so, again, similar to last year, not every house is going to see a 16% or 15.87% tax increase. For the median home value, we have it estimated at about 14.66%, which is not nothing, of course, but also your actual tax impact is also based on your home value. So if your home value increases, there's going to be a natural increase in the tax, whereas if your home decreases in value, you're eligible for additional homestead market exclusion, but your property value will decrease, and so that burden actually decreases as well, which is what happened last year. The council also will remember that the homestead exclusion was expanded, so most residents did not experience that, even the 12%, which was what the median actual tax increase was. So as we've discussed, the levy amount it's kind of an arbitrary number. There's so many different factors that go into it. I know last night's news story was 30% tax increase or levy increase in 2 years. That doesn't necessarily mean a 30% tax increase for every property or the median homes. So some of the things that we've discussed, these are what adjustments would be. And just to give a perspective for the public as well as the council, since the last time we talked, if we reduce the levy 1%, which is out of the $3 million levy increase, it's about $192,000 for 1%, which equates to about $1.60 per month. So in order to get so you'd still have a $224 increase to bring it down from 15.87 to 14.87. That's still a $19 a month increase just to bring it down 1%. Every percentage of that 15.87 is about $15. So you can do the math. That's just over $1 a month. It's again not nothing. I understand that the public is everybody is under the similar circumstances with increasing costs across the board. But this is we're not adding a whole lot to. There are a couple new positions, as we've discussed. The additional police officer is, again, about $1.05 a month for that. It's, it's $159,000 cost, and the levy impact is less than, it's just over $1 a month for the median home. If we eliminated all three of the new positions, we would have to do some recalculation because, as we've talked about, that 361 is the net cost because we're canceling a contract for the domestic violence advocate and creating our own, which would be a victim advocate, and then the addition of the commercial and building inspector position to help police the commercial areas more and help with that. And then the other would be the additional police officer. Those three positions are the net increases, and that's that $361,000. That would, again, be about a $3 for all three of those positions, $3 deduction for the median home per month. So again, I just want to make sure that the council understands and the public, in order to get a significant, I don't know what a significant, it's subjected to everybody, but a significant decrease in the levy increase, there would have to be some significant cuts. We would not be able to provide the same level of services that we currently are providing without eliminating some positions similar to Brooklyn Center just did or are doing, and that's just the reality. So we have not brought that to you. The council hasn't asked us to do that, but if it was something, we would have to look at cutting services, essentially, because the people are the services. Any questions on this aspect of the deductions in the tax? If there's a dollar amount of, like a total tax increase per year, right now it's at 243. If you wanted to get it to 200, it would, that would be, several hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's not that much per $200,000. It's about $15 a month, or sorry, yes, $15 total. So $15 a year per household. So.
Chad?
So earlier in your presentation, you talked about how a majority of the tax itself is going to be carried by commercial property and by multi-unit buildings. I think last year we received basically a chart, showing the city properties and showing where the tax and
The heat map.
Huh?
The heat map.
The heat map, yeah, the heat map, exactly.
We don't have that yet.
Okay.
A lot of the information that we get in December, closer to the final adoption for the final levy budget, we still are receiving that and we're still compiling that.
Yep.
Even just this week, trying to get the other preliminary numbers from the neighboring communities, it's very difficult. It's not publicly available yet. That all is publicly available once, because every city has to certify their preliminary numbers. to the state and the county, and then we were able to get access to that in a more clear picture. So that, we will have that information before December. We'll probably have it in November. We usually get about mid-November is when we
And
compile it.
just a comment, I mean, that one, that was, with the heat map, we were able to see the results of our action and be able to feel comfortable that the bulk of the cost or whatever increase was not directly directed at residents. So that was very effective. So I think that that's something to note. So, and I'm looking to see that that's the case again this year as well. So, yeah.
One of the things, and I don't have the exact numbers again because I don't have all the neighboring information, but New Hope, again, we talk a lot about, I talked to Reese earlier, he said, you know, don't get
bash
us in
them too
trouble.
much.
But the cost per capita in taxes for Crystal is still less than New Hope. It's one of the lowest in the area. And again, just for the public, and I've told the reporters this, and I've explained it to the council, Crystal has been a tremendous value. I mean, it's kind of been a steal for so long, and the city's been able to get away with not having the revenue to keep providing the services. We've kind of come to the end of that being feasible. We can't kick the can down the road any further. So if there are cuts that we want to make, it's either going to be services or take even longer to get to where we need to be financially, and that's not necessarily good for the city financial health. So that is something that we're doing, is getting the city back. So that 30% tax increase in 2 years, that it sounds much worse than it actually is. Not to trivialize or diminish the actual impact on households, but it's kind of an arbitrary number. The actual tax increase to the actual homes are much lower. But Crystal, I will swear up and down, it's still a tremendous value for the money. You would not be able to go get the same home and pay the same taxes in any of the neighboring cities and receive the same level of service. So that's a pitch, but we've already gone over the EDA budget. Again, one thing that the EDA is covering this next year in the EDA budget was some of the strategic long-term planning that the council wants to do. So that was an increase, but we are going to the max because of as John has explained, one of the TIFs is expiring, and so there should really be no net increase there. That's like I said, the numbers themselves, I'm happy to go over, but if there's any questions from the council before we open it up to the public, I'll stay here and try to answer questions as well. But if there's any from the council, I'm happy to go over them.
And just so that the viewing public knows, if they want to look at all these numbers, it is on the city council agenda packet that can be viewed on the website.
And that was another question. We have new budgeting software this year. The goal is to have that, that information available to the public as well.
Right.
Is there any idea when?
By December is the goal to have that totally up
Okay,
and running.
December.
It won't be the finished, we're going to keep improving it every year.
Yep.
But we'll have a lot of this through the public transparency portal available in December. And then the public will actually be able to see where the money's going and see what's coming in, and they'll have a much more increased transparency and access to the financials.
Can do a deep dive on everything financial in Crystal.
I have spoken to a couple residents, 30, 45-minute phone calls. I'm happy to, if anybody wants to give me a phone call, I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible to go over all this. There is a lot of, I don't want to say nuance, but there, as the council is well aware, there's a lot of information going into all the decisions that are being made. It's not just a simple, we're just increasing taxes to add one or two things. There's a lot of moving parts going on that this is how we got here. There's also, last year's, I did do that podcast with former Mayor Adams. It was about over an hour long, diving into a lot of these details. Most of the information is still relevant. So the public can go and listen to that if they want to hear me talk for an hour.
Are you going to have another one with Mayor Deschler here?
I think she said it was
Maybe.
last year's was sufficient.
Oh, what?
But I'm happy to sit down with her.
Yay.
I think that would be good for the Mayor Pro Tem Taji to do that.
Thank you, Mayor.
Taji?
I do have some comments. I appreciate you all being here. We're going to open it up soon, so I look forward. I'm honestly excited to hear some of your thoughts and reactions. You know, we're in a sticky situation. The percentage, as has already been discussed, is arbitrary and maybe even misleading. And so I wish that, of course, these headlines wouldn't go out, but it brought you all here, so that's good. At the end of the day, from my perspective, we're playing from behind, and I think this was alluded to as we look at our neighboring communities. And I view it this way. You know, if your taxes are $100, okay, $100, and another city's is $200, one city, their levy is increasing 16%, so that means they're going to pay $116. The other city, they're at $200, but it's an 8% increase. Well, they're paying $216. I think that, well, I'm not going to try to do the math. But my point is the percentages are misleading because the starting point is different. And so, yes, 16 is massive, and I wish we were not in this situation. But as Adam has already shared, we are still the most, or one of the most affordable communities in the region. And I am committed to ensuring that still happens. I also need to ensure that we are financially viable as a community. So, for example, and again, my understanding is we actually do not have the appropriate amount of dollars in our bank account based on state expectations to actually pay for the things for the next year. We should have 35%, I think, is the state auditor's recommendation for how much money, 35% of our total budget we should have in our bank account to pay for things for the next year. We do not have that in our bank account right now, and we are working to increase that. That's because over the last several years, we've paid for things in cash and have depleted our budget without adequately replenishing our funds. And so we are now playing catch up, not only to just stay on par with our neighboring communities, even though we're still more affordable, but also just so that we have enough money in the bank account to pay for things. All of that said, you know, this council is also committed to, I think, fundamentally approaching our work a little bit differently. This is the first year we actually have some strategic priorities with metrics associated to them so we can operate more efficiently. And I look forward to publishing and sharing more of that work and what your dollars are actually going to. We're also going to embark on a 25-year plan, which has not existed in the community, so that we can actually be more planful with these expenses over the long term. I absolutely expect that our levy will go down in future years. But again, there's a myriad of factors that are contributing to this 15.87% that is jarring when you look at it, and I get that. And there's, as has been alluded to, so many factors that are contributing to that. And I want to hang my hat on the fact that, again, as we look at the actual dollars that people are paying in neighboring communities, we are paying less or on par with our neighboring similar communities.
Very well said. I tried to explain that same concept on social media today, didn't I?
Well, you did good, though. You did good.
But Taji always says it better. All right, any other comments from the council members, or should we go to the,
Yeah. Public hearing?
the public comments? So Dave Bisson, if you're still here and awake, you are up.
Good evening, Council. I'm Dave Beeson. I live at 6603 36th Avenue. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the property tax increase. 16%, I know we're talking about, well, 30% isn't really 30%, but it seems like it is, you know, our expenditures went up 15% last year, now they're going up 15% this year, so seems a little bit of a spin about, but, you know, the 16% just seems out of step and too high. Maybe I need to do a little more research about Golden Valley, and New Hope. But this is something that the residents have to absorb, and we're all under budget crunches. And this is on top of what I think is a pending 8% from the Hennepin County. So and we're getting a left and a right. So it's getting to be tough. He didn't mention it here, but I saw some stuff that maybe the city manager was citing the need to recover, and I think you guys were talking about. You're playing catch up. There were some things in 2022 about insurance claims and employee benefits and loss of revenues, and that we need to replenish the general fund. That's all well and good, but every kitchen table, and mine included, has to deal with budget constraints. So that's not just, well, we didn't have enough money then, but we're going to keep spending. So, I mean, the city has chosen to continue to spend things. So I'm asking the council, we need to really look at the budget and find out what's really reasonable, what's really a priority. Not everything can be a priority. And work out a budget that, you know, is reasonable and, you know, deals with fiscal responsibility. I'll take a look at what's in the packet. I actually looked at an old version that was, you know, the budget that was posted on the city website. So some of my information may be a little bit out of date or out of sync here. And I guess, you know, looks like what I'm seeing here is a budget expenditure increases like 11% for this year, but then we're asking the taxpayers to increase their costs 16%. So residents are asking to carry more of their fair share. Some expenditures on here, and I would ask that the council look at the entire budget, but a few things kind of jumped out at me on this version I'm looking at is at this line item for mayor and council. It went up 30% or $162,000 in 2026. So I guess somebody should explain what that is and why it went up from $245,000 in 2024 to $700,000 in 26. That's a lot of money.
Is that because of elections? Is that an election year?
No, elections was a different line item, I think. It's called mayor and council, went from 245 in 2024.
I thought it went down.
To 700,000 in 2026 budget.
That would have been in a much earlier version.
Okay, maybe I'm out of date here, but.
Yeah, there were several shifts because to address that point, if I may, Mayor and Council, you'll remember that the Mayor and Council, it's essentially treated as a department. And so the contingency funds, there was a full-time position that was created for 2025 that was also included in that. There were other expenses that were kind of just general city government that had been in that department. We moved several of those out to the administration department, if that's the list that you have. So that
This is the one that was on the city's website that I.
yeah. So that was I think it was last year. That's the last year's final budget.
So this isn't current with what you're posting now, or with the packet. This is what was on the city's website for the 2025-26 budget.
I don't.
2020.
Yeah, that's
this one.
That's an entirely different document.
Pardon me?
That was from December.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my point is we need to look at these line items and make sure the money needs to be spent and it's responsible to do so. Same like with, park maintenance, we had This is showing a $300,000 increase in '26, and even though we spent $700,000 last year, which was almost a 50% increase, so more park stuff on top of more park stuff, so. Community center, we're spending another $135,000 on top of $250,000 from the previous year. So I just ask that the council take a look at all these line items, make sure they're valid, to make sure they're reasonable, and they're fiscally responsible within the priorities of the city. We can't be all to everybody, and we can't do it all at one time, and this is a burden to the taxpayers. So we'll talk more, I guess, in December. All right, thank you all.
Parking lot.
Carmen? State your name and your address.
Hello, I'm Carmen Bojan, 5725 Perry Avenue North, and thank you for your time tonight. I don't think I could say anything much more than what he shared. I'm very concerned about the citizens and their financial stability. I personally have been dealing with a lot of challenges over the last 5-6 years. Everybody has been dealing with a lot of financial troubles. And I look at the presentation of wanting to rebuild the financial security, you guys wanting to build your financial reserves. I haven't had a savings account for 6 years. And it just came up this season that I might be able to save some money for a new roof, which I've been trying to get done and in desperate need of. I'm single. I work hard, try to save some money when I can, and there's just nothing there. There's nothing there. And even though it seems very little to some people, added into everything else, it has increased, and it's just really causing me to lose hope. So I really hope that you listen to what this gentleman said and that you look at each line, because I think that additional parks, additional this and that, I would not suggest at all cutting anything from the police department. They have been there for me for the last 5-6 years, so many occasions. That is not an option in my book. But I do think there is a line-by-line assessment that needs to be done. And I think it needs to be done for a lot of people, not just me. So that's about all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing your comments. And Tom?
Oh.
Do you want to say any more?
I already kind of said my.
Okay, all right. Anybody else here to talk about Sally?
Hi, Sally Hubner, 5400 Georgia Avenue, and former door knocker for Julie for months and months.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for consideration in looking at the budget again. I concur that the Park and Rec is very difficult to see that budget when my Social Security budget is going to go up 2.7% next year. So it's very difficult to see large spending and subsequent year after year increases. But I do have a question. Last month, one of the slides broke down into the new positions. And for the inspector, it seemed like a fair and reasonable salary, but the benefits seemed extremely high. Could you expound on benefits and why we see like extraordinary prices on that?
Sure. So the benefits includes all the taxes, all the payroll taxes, as well as the health insurance. The what you would normally think of as benefits for employees, employee benefits. That includes PARA, which is the state retirement fund that the employee also contributes half to. But it's also for like the health insurance. it's estimated, because these are just estimates because these people don't exist. We budget for like a family cost. So the odds are, unless, well, we don't know who we're going to hire for a new position. And so we budget at the high level so we don't go over budget, which then dips into the general fund. But that includes all the taxes, all the payroll taxes. One of the new things, just for the public, the Minnesota State, or the paid family leave that was passed by the legislature this last year, that's about $50,000 across the city just for that. And that's a tax that's split half by the city and half by so it's $50,000 from the employees, and then $50,000 that the city's going to have to pay for. So that was an additional tax this year. We did have a 9.5% insurance increase. And so that the benefits is it encompasses a lot. That includes workers' comp. So there's quite a few things in there. It's not just like health and dental types of insurance.
So there wasn't anything over the ordinary? Like
no,
a car,
no.
Some additional item that they get for a benefit?
No, not for that position specifically, or especially. The one thing I'll just on that point, as you'll see, the additional police officer up on the screen, the benefits are quite significant for that because the police, they're treated, it's different. They have a different type of retirement program. So not every employee will have the same, but all the taxes that are based on the estimated salary. So that's why the amount, there's not just a set amount for each position. It depends on how much the salary is, as well as the type of position, as well as because all the taxes are based on the salary as well.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Any other comments this evening on the budget?
At the risk of sounding stupid, you had made a comment that we in Crystal here live relatively comfortably, or whatever your terminology was, compared to other regions or peoples in the region. What is the region? I mean,
Yeah, so when I refer to that, I'm saying New Hope, Robbinsdale, Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, Golden Valley. So it's our neighboring communities.
okay, I agree with you on that. And then the other thing, has the city of Crystal ever, or will they ever, consider a tax freeze for people 65 and older or 67 and older, as other cities do?
It's a great question. I don't know.
We do have programs that are available for senior citizens. We usually have them listed with when we do the budget, the final, we talk about the various programs. And they have, they're through Hennepin County, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
I'm not exactly, I don't know if we have those links posted on our website or not.
I believe they're on the
But we can,
website.
if you fill out one of those
Taxes.
we'll reach out to you with that information so that you'll be able to see the various programs that are available for seniors.
Okay.
So,
But when you say freeze it, it means you don't have to pay it.
No.
But sooner or later, when you sell your house, you're paying it.
yeah.
My understanding is that it just doesn't go up anymore. That's
We still pay the property tax
I-
at a certain age.
paying, but it just freezes at that point when you turn 65 or
I
Not sure.
passed that, so
Yeah.
I didn't know about that. I have to say.
Communities offer, some offer it, some don't. And it freezes.
We do have,
Yeah, John Sutter, can you speak to that? I just see your nonverbals.
I'm sorry, we have to follow state law. The cities don't have the discretion to say, well, this class of property taxpayer, based on their age, is exempt from tax increases. I am not aware of any city in Minnesota that does that. I'd love to know which city does that, just because it's important to know the facts. But, I mean, cities cannot make up, cannot treat the same class of property differently based on the identity of the person living in it. I don't think that's something cities have the authority to do under state law, and maybe the attorney can chime in on that, but that would be a first. There are various circuit breaker programs that help to deal with large increases, and I think that's what Councilmember Budashevsky is referring to, that are available to everybody in Minnesota. But cities can't carve out their own tax law. We have to follow the state law.
There's tax deferrals too, so the way it works here is that when you're 65 or older in the year that you apply, or if you're married, one of you is 65 and older and the other is at least 62, your household income is $96,000 or less, and you've owned or lived in your home for the last 5 years, your home has been, obviously you're homesteading, but how it works is the property tax you pay will be 3% of your total household income based on your prior year's income. The state pays the remainder as a loan. And when you sell your home or voluntarily cancel the deferral, you must pay the loan plus the interest. So that's how this works, and this is through the state.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, because just saying, you know, as we get older, we pay more and more taxes, and that money that we have to pay more taxes is taking away from our ability to keep our homes looking beautiful.
Sure.
When our homes don't look beautiful, then the neighborhood goes to hell.
Yeah.
And it's unacceptable.
Just snowballs.
And we also have grant programs that are available to help with various, improvements on your home. So we have those available through the city as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we'll check into that.
yeah.
Okay, thanks.
So, yeah, there are other options, yeah.
There's also a home improvement plan through Hennepin County that, if you live in your home for 15 years, then they forgive that loan altogether. So, that might be something to consider for your roof. Just a thought. And then, of course, if you sell your house before then, you would have to pay the entire cost of the project, but you don't have to pay anything until then, so. So any other comments on the property tax increase? Hi there.
Madam Mayor. Teresa Pierce, 4444 Zane Avenue North. And I've been in Crystal the majority of my life. I grew up on Georgia. I moved 1 mile away. And I am really concerned about this because, like Julie said, my cost of living increase, I just retired last year with the understanding, I figured out all my bills. I figured out my student loans had to be paid before, my house had to be completely paid for before I retired. And then my cost of living is 2.5% increase. So with a 16% increase, and this is just property taxes, because you've got to understand that our gas has gone up, our electricity has gone up 14% at least every month. And so it's getting to be a real bind on us homeowners. And I worked with budgets for the last 35 years. So I know what you have to deal with and everything. The parks, I can't say enough about the parks because, first, Becker Park is a mess, but when they wanted to do Welcome Park, I was against it, and it's just beautiful, and it's really brought the community together. But we really have to focus on what we actually need, because that's what I have to focus on now. Mm-hmm. Can I buy a car? No, I can't afford to buy a car. I'm driving a 2007. My luxury vehicle is my van, which is a 1995. So, and I'm sure that I'm in a comfortable state. There's a lot of Christonians that are worse off than me. Mm-hmm. So I'm just kind of pleading, we really need to work on what's needed, what we need, what we wants and needs, because that's what I have to look at when I'm at the thrift store. Is this a want or a need? And yeah, it's at a thrift store now instead of Kohl's, so I'm just asking, please take this into consideration.
Thank you very much. Now our Medicare Advantage is going to go up too, way up. Yeah, I know.
8 companies are taking away.
Yeah. All right, any other comments? Okay, I think that concludes our public input for this evening.
I Can I just
Oh,
wait?
I'm sorry,
No,
of
that's
course,
okay.
yes.
Well, I was just going to say thank you, everyone, for coming to talk it out and understand what is actually going on, because shock headlines are scary and they don't tell the whole story. So, this council is extremely sensitive to this. We live in the community too. It affects us too. So we don't take it lightly. When you look at the actual increase, it's not, the majority of it is things that are out of our control. Wage increases, benefits, insurance. It takes up what would our levy be if we didn't have that? Wasn't it like half of it?
At which part?
If we didn't have to
the
repay the
wages
debt.
and benefits.
52% of the increase.
Yeah, that was.
So our levy would only be 8% for things in our control. And, every department has to come to us and show us the budget, we approve it, and we do go line by line. We're here till 10 PM minimum,
10.
every work session, sometimes 11, sometimes later. So we go through it with a comb, a fine-tooth comb. We ask questions, we challenge things. And yeah, we could cut Parks and Rec. I have looked, I will say I'm an advocate for looking at that, but you have a whole nother side of the city that's like, no, but we don't want to lose our Parks and Rec because that brings us enjoyment in our community. So it's really a balance, and we're trying the best to figure out what we can do to help everybody and be as fiscally responsible as we can. There's really nowhere I see that we can cut as far as core services. Our departments, the majority of them are working below levels that they should be staffed at. So it's tough for us because we don't want to burn out what we have in our good, loyal staff too. So we want to get them the help we can, if we can.
Can you come to the microphone, please?
So if 52% of the increase is due to wage increases, how does that not occur every year?
Well, that's a great question. So one of the things that we did in 2025 this year is we did a class and compensation study. Every couple years this year, we have, so earlier this year, it would have been September, Kim, I believe, we had 2 union contracts that were renewed with our police department. There were 2 different bargaining units. And so part of the class and compensation study, we look at 12 different cities that are comparable to us in the area. And just to get to average, those were the adjustments that had to be made. So that did account for, not to pick on the police, we love our police, as we said tonight, but that played a significant part of that, just to be able to pay our police officers just to get them to market.
A one-time jump, essentially.
Well, it can happen depending on what happens, right as of January 1st, 2026, they'll be at the market average. And so for the next 2 years of the contract, we can't control what the other cities do in the meantime. And that's every 2 or 3 years, we then have to renegotiate those labor contracts. And as a whole, that does impact the rest of the city. Under state pay equity, we have to have all the positions related. So there's multiple driving factors to that. But that was one thing that did drive some of the increase, because we love our police officers, and we want to make sure that it's difficult to recruit and retain police officers everywhere. We have a great thing going, as Chief Hubbard said. We do get some really great police officers, but it's nowhere near like it was 5-6 years ago. So it's becoming more and more of a challenge.
Yeah. I was just worried, I guess, salaries, like as they increase, and if you're going off of like COLA increases or whatever, it's like a compounding problem, right? Like as people's salaries increase, the levy will have to increase, more and more year over year, unless you get obviously turnover or something like that. But I'd assume even when you hire new people, they're probably at some kind of bar level,
And that was something that we, just to let the public know, we have had several retirements, positions have moved on, and we have struggled with recruitment over the last couple of years. And so that was one of the reasons that driving the compensation study to figure out what is the market that we need to be at. So that did play a role in where we're at.
Sure. Okay. I think everything's been really talked about, I mean, by the first speaker, I believe. But I guess one thing that I wanted to note that was just relevant was that, like, the city keeps going back to, like, what other cities are doing and things like that, and, like, comparing those things, and then trying to almost sell the cost to, like, the average household, right? Well, you speak of the average household at, like, 235 or whatever it was.
290 something.
But that average, you know, also includes, you know, some houses could be 90,000, but then you're talking, you know, to get to that average, you could have $600,000 houses, 700. And so it's like a proportion thing, you know, like who's being affected. Some people may be 20, some people may be 50, 60. And that's in 1 year, but I mean, this has been year over year over
Right.
year. And so it's like $50, you know, for upper, you know, on the higher average. I mean, $50 every year, you know, per month. So you're talking like $600 a year. You go from a bill 4 years ago that was $2,400 less, you know. Like that's pretty significant, you know, when you put it into a different perspective other than $20 a month, you know, because not everyone's potentially right there at that $20. They could be at the $50. So, I mean, to sell the idea and put it all into, I guess, the city's perspective doesn't really like draw the whole picture, you know, like give it an average number as your like selling point.
And if I could just make one clear, so it is the median, not average, mean, but it is the median. And the reason for that is because that it's the best we can get to. The
Yeah,
most,
I know.
you know, shared, you know, it's the median home value. And because we get that information from the county assessor's office. Obviously, as you indicated, it can vary widely from the different ends. There's also other factors such as the homestead exclusion. It gets eliminated, you know, it decreases the more the property goes up.
Right.
But that's the number that we have that we can report on. So that's kind of the reason for that. There's so many other factors for each individual property, just the actual market value. But it's kind of it's the most static number that we can provide. So, but I understand the question or the frustration with, they're not
Right, I
frustration,
think
but
it's just easy to like maybe sell like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, you know, because you're like using the smaller, like an average number or median, I guess, number. But it just doesn't change the fact, I guess, for me that like the budget increase, I mean, if you just look at the line numbers, you know, it's like 15.48 or whatever % on the budget increase, like that's that, you know what I mean, like to me. And so I guess my final thought is just I would like to ask the council, you know, to really consider what everyone said today and kind of see it as like for every person speaking today, they could be speaking for 100 other people, you know, that didn't come today. And so it's like, I don't know how many people we have to put together to show like what the public wants so you guys could vote as the public representatives, you know?
Yeah.
How many people do we need to bring here to get you guys to vote with us, right? I don't know what that is, but that's why I ask you guys just to view as like every person that came today is maybe 100 people because, you know, not everybody comes here, you know? And so I think the people that do come here are like pretty powerful that they're speaking for more than them, just themselves, you know? And so I guess my final thought, sorry,
No,
is
that's
that you really just consider what everyone said and try to just like rein in the spending on it maybe a little bit and try to figure out a way to like slow down the increases year over year and maybe just put it back on the city manager. And I'm speaking to the council when I'm asking you guys this, but put back the duty to the city manager to getting within a budget that the public agrees on, which is what you guys are who you guys are voting for. So is there, I guess, a question for you? Is there a way, like what would it take to prove that the majority of the Crystal public is against a certain amount of raise?
Come to the open forum. I mean, we talk about budget early on in the year, and you're going to, like I said, each department comes to us and shows us what their proposed increases or projects are for the year. So come to those meetings and speak during open forum and say, no, I don't want that. We don't want that. I mean, that's how you're going to get your voice heard.
Okay.
Well,
Is there
that
any,
and the
like-
polls.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask next, was like, is there a way to, like, if we get 1,000 signatures, like, would that put any kind of vote in place, or?
We have a survey that people participate in, and we get a lot of information from that in terms of how the city should be managed. And so we try, we also have local meetings. When we have projects going on, we send out notifications to the surrounding area. We make sure that the people are informed, and a lot of times, we don't get a lot of response. And so it's like, like you're here today talking to us about the levy increase. And, we've been working on this all year long. I mean, primarily what this council does at every meeting and every work session is talk about the numbers. And so, I mean, last year, when we were working through our budget and we were getting down to this, down to the 11th hour, I was talking to Adam about, my house, using my house as an example, cost, and we actually got it right down to about my property tax increase for the city of Crystal alone was going to be $90 for the year. And likewise, we'll probably get down to, when we get closer to the actual, the voter rolls, adding it, I'll sit down with him and I'll talk to him about looking at the actual cost of, increase to my property tax. And my house is on the median. It really is. And the majority of the homes in the city of Crystal, that's where it sits. And we talk about the services. We have, the services are outlined in the budget here. And we have not had, we had an individual today, we don't want to touch police and fire. But, a lot of the aspects that are part of this budget are focused on that. The additional services that are out to the community are part of the police department. They're there to help the police officers be effective in their job. Right. And so, and we weigh those things very carefully, throughout the year, and we talk about them. We talk about the services that we contract out outside the city. We try to make sure that those services are effective and good use of our funding. If we find that we can do a better job ourselves, then we start bringing those services in-house, and that's what you're seeing here tonight. Granted, the reserve is, the budget reserve is an issue, but we feel like we're starting to get a handle on that. We're starting to take care of that, and we're going to start seeing, that issue being resolved here within the next couple of years, I think.
Right.
So that's a big thing as well. So. Likewise, we got to make sure that we hire the best people. We don't want to be, good people cost money. We're not going to pay the minimum wage. Yeah. And likewise, we don't want them to be bled off and where we train them, we bring them up to being the police officers that we know and we rely on within our community and have them bled off and go work for somebody else. We don't want to be a training ground. We want to keep those officers and we want to keep them long-term because that's the most effective way. And I don't know if this is clear or not, but in any emergency here in the city, the first person that's going to be there on site at your house within 10 minutes is going to be a police officer with a tank of oxygen. And so, I think, in terms of service to our community, that's first. Then the fire department, they're there to direct the ambulances in to make sure that you get there, to make sure that there's enough people to make sure that you can get out of your house and get to a care facility, Should I stop or whatever? I feel like I'm almost like this is the tobacco thing, but we try to make sure that you get the best bang for your buck, and ultimately. And we do talk about this and we do care about it a lot. There's no whimsical spending here. Yeah, I want to make sure that that's clear,
And I do trust you when you say that, like I do believe that obviously you guys look through the numbers thoroughly and all that. I guess I still believe though that there could still be a set number and, you know, city could work within that number, you know, no matter what.
That is our goal. That is our goal. And then likewise, I keep talking about this new budget software, having it online, so you can look at the very numbers that we look at to see exactly what we're dealing with. And that's the ultimate goal, because up until now, we have been using Excel to be able to forecast our budget, and it was very clunky. It was very awkward. There was, you know, a lot of times we look at the long-range forecasts for, you know, the various projects that we have proposed for going out for the next 30 years, and we'd find errors and mistakes and have to go back and find out where the mistake was in Excel and then resolve that issue and basically republish it again. This new software system is supposed to make improvements in terms of how the budget is created, and we're slowly getting to that point, being able to be more effective and more accurate on what we're presenting to the city of Crystal, to the people that live here. So I just
Sure.
want you to know we care.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I
yeah.
absolutely, I can see that. But yeah, I guess my opinion, I guess, would be like maybe we could, I know someone said this, I think, expand, like instead of like hitting the public with a 15.48, I don't know what the exact number is, but it's something like that. All in 1 year, right? Like we can't, it's really hard to come back from that, right? Like you can't roll it back.
No.
But we could expand the timeline, right? And in that way, we're having these discussions more often over the same, because if we did, let's say we did 5%. Well, now we have 3 years of discussion before we even got to the 16% or the 15.48%, you know, and it could be spanned out to, and we still get to the same goal of like, you know, maybe fixing all of our savings, deficits
Reserves.
and stuff like that,
Yeah.
our reserves deficits. Like we could get there in a longer period of time, but I'm just afraid if we go 16% every year, we'll never be able to roll it back, you know? And so maybe if we could slow it down a little bit and get to the same outcome in the end. I don't know if that's a possibility, but that's all. We can discuss this.
Well, I just wanted to make a quick comment too, when you were talking about us comparing cities. Really, I don't think that the mean or the high or the low matters. I mean, even if you go with the high and it's $50 a month, $600 a year, I think the point we're trying to make is it's $600 a year here in Crystal. But in New Hope, it would be $600 plus assessments, plus, you know, any sort of bonding that they do or any sort of franchising that they do. So it wouldn't just be the $600, it's maybe another $200 on top of that. What you see in Crystal is what you see. There's no hidden tax.
And I do like that.
Yes, so it all comes out of our general levy, whereas in these neighboring cities, it's not the case. So they could say they have an 8% increase, but that's probably
Sure, they
half
could-
of what you're going to be paying.
Right. They could be rolling the other increases into other lower numbers, and you're not adding them
Yes,
up.
franchising,
to be the
exactly,
same.
and street assessments.
One point just to make with other cities, you know, is that we don't necessarily have to do the same thing as other cities either. You know, like just because they're at 1.9% or whatever, you know, property tax to value, doesn't mean we have to, you know. We don't have to follow them off of the cliff or whatever.
Well,
however
right,
you
I
wanna
mean,
put it.
but to that point, I mean, we have kind of stood out from all the other cities. We don't have these hidden taxes, and we haven't had them, and we don't plan to have them. So that, I would say that that's a pretty big standout from our neighboring cities.
Yeah.
And I'll just add to your comment about you know, how could we ever come back from these types of levies? We actually do project out what our levies are going to be over the next several years. And my opinion is that this will be the highest levy that we'll see. I am committed to seeing it decrease over the next coming years. And actually, I think we'll get into the single digits in the next few years. That's my hope. And if we have a higher levy next year, you should probably fire me. But I do, like, this year's going to hurt, and we know that. And I think
Can you speak for the prior 3 years?
So yeah, we had 10%, we had 16%, now we're at 15.87. And so yeah, that's kind of the ramp up to make up for last time, and I think you'll see a steady ramp down.
I tried to find all the information of like, because I could only see, you know, what was offered on the Crystal's website. And I tried to go back, you know, all the way to when I first purchased my property, you know, trying to kind of figure out all those information. But like, I could only see what was on the the, you know, the sheet that it maybe was like 22, 23, 24, 25. Because I was trying to prove a point, right, that like we already had 6 years of double-digit growth, you know, on these things.
Yep.
So I don't know. That just was to prove my point that it's just an all, you know, every year, you know. It's like most people, if you look 5 years ago, their property taxes were half of what they are today, you know, and so that's 100% increase, you know.
Yep, I hear you.
Your home value has changed within that
For
time
sure
too.
it has, yeah. But that still, I mean, the property taxes, you know, the number,
Right.
the cost of ownership, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you don't sell your home, you don't
Right,
see that.
well,
profit
allegedly,
anyways.
yeah, because you haven't realized that value.
Sure.
Yeah. You know, but you can see more in terms of what your property tax increases if you go to the Minnesota State property tax record and actually look year by year for the city of Crystal, what your property tax was.
Right.
And that would probably be able to help you kind of like, balance, apples to apples, so, yeah.
Right.
But, yeah, I know, when I bought my house, it was under $100,000. Well, now it's obviously worth more, you know.
Right.
But, the value of the home is what they're basing the actual property tax from, is, for Hennepin County is based on that value, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess just the argument I'm trying to make is that
Yeah.
I think,
I
don't know, I haven't done the study, but
Yeah.
and I know you said you take polls and whatever.
Right, yeah.
But like, what does the public tell you, you know? Do they do?
They tell-
Because when you talk about a 15.48% increase, like, does everybody hoorah on those polls?
Well,
Or is the public saying no?
Well, we don't have a lot, I guess I want to say we don't have a lot of negative feedback when it comes in terms of managing the city. We might have, like a situation tonight, obviously, we had a daycare that was pretty upset about, about an issue regarding parking, right? We had an individual here who was talking about parking in front of his house. We have a lot of those that are more personal issues that people talk about. People move here to Crystal, and, I think they see the value of living in Crystal, and they stay, and I think, I look at, other cities, more outlying cities such as, we always want to say, like, we look at the Edinas and we try to compare ourselves to Plymouth, right? And they're paying a lot more, obviously, in property tax, and the value of their homes are considerably more, right? They may have a smaller, percentage tax levy, but the dollar amount is bigger. So, do they get a big bang for their buck? Yes, because they have a larger commercial district. We're more of a residential area. We don't have, much in terms of commercial property. But I do want to tell you that is like what we have seen in this particular tax cycle, that the bulk of the taxes paid are by commercial property and by multi-resident facilities such as apartment buildings. And that's what we're seeing, that growth now here in Crystal. So, if you follow our meetings, the Wells Fargo property is going to be redeveloped, and it's going to have a multi-unit apartment building on that site, which adds to our tax base. So we also have another property that's going to be built at 81 and Bass Lake Road. Again, those properties, start, once they come online, they're part of the actual tax base, and they help kind of like even out the cost of, living here in Crystal that prior to that was carried by the residential property. So that's more or less, that's kind of the what we're seeing over time. And that's what I think Taji is talking about in terms of,
I was going to say that, and I hope when we see those revenues that we could see a flat line of across the board.
Well, that's the goal. And the idea is like we understand, the importance of, the services that are provided by the city to the constituents, but we're also realizing that there's a cost, and we're trying to figure out a way. I'm getting the hammer.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you. Hey, thank you all.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you for
We
coming.
can talk after the meeting. What?
No, it's apartments.
An apartment.
It's an office building that's already there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
It's going to be, yeah. You were notified.
You were notified.
Yeah, by card?
No,
There was a
not-
range, but they notified for that?
Yeah.
Maybe outside of the range, depends on where your house is at. Yeah.
Well, I want to continue on with the meeting because we're really done. We're going to read the announcements and then we can stay and talk offline with a couple questions, okay? Okay, bye, Ann. All right. Now that the council budget comments are finished, we're just going to read some special announcements. We have a special material drop-off day, which is this Saturday, October 11th, from 8 until 3 at Brooklyn Park Operation and Maintenance Facility. It's 8300 Noble Avenue North. Our next city council meeting is Tuesday, October 21st at 7 o'clock in the council chambers. City Council will hold a special work session regarding a town center vision plan on Thursday, October 23rd at 6:30 in the upper community room. The city is accepting applications for several volunteer positions on our boards and commissions. We have openings on the Sustainability Commission, Inclusion and Diversity Commission, Planning Commission, Employee Review Board, and on the Metro Blue Line Advisory Committee. For more information, please contact the city's website or visit the city's website. This is how tired I am. City council meetings and work sessions are open to the public. Current and previous meetings are always available for viewing and listening at www.crystalmn.gov. Is there any other announcement that anybody can think of that we missed?
Do we have a work session after this?
Yes.
Okay, never mind then.
I have one. So we have an opportunity for boulevard trees. It's a free permitting process. Please come down to City Hall, and you can work with our Public Works Department in terms of planting a tree, one of 30 species. And I just recently had it done. It's quite easy, and I recommend to do that. It'll help. Sorry, I'm running out of words here. Hard to believe.
Your voice is going.
My voice is cracking, yes.
That's a sign.
It's a way in which we can replace the number of trees that have been destroyed by emerald ash borer. So we're going to lose 28% of our canopy. So with the Boulevard tree program, you'll be able to help participate in that process of being able to replenish our forest canopy. Thank you. So just fill out a permit at City Hall here. Yeah, I'll show you where it is right after the meeting.
Okay. Any other discussion on that, on the announcements? All right, motion to
I
adjourn.
make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, Jen, so anybody second it?
Second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. We are adjourned.
Okay.